Hello, everyone. I'm David Tavares, lead game designer of Occupational Hazard LLC. Today, we will be going over Cargo, which is a kit downloader by KitBash3D, where you can download all of their various packages, what they call kits. Here you can see behind me, their latest Age of Egypt is in there, as well as everything else. I will be reviewing each one of these. Um, Except for Mission of to Minerva, I will rate it, but I won't be going through that one too much because it is free to everyone. So if you want to download that you can download that now, either as a whole package kit at kitbash3d.com, I believe is their website. I'll make sure the links are below. But I'll also be rating each other one, which I currently have a Cargo Pro subscription, which gives you access to everything here. You can download each kit one asset at a time. They don't have a full kit download like they do if you purchase the kit individually on their website. If you want to download just a piece here and there are a couple freebies, but you'll have to get the pro account if you want to download them all like I have done. But I will review them for you as a service so that you can know what is actually in the kit. I'll play around with it a little bit and you can understand which kits you might actually need, which you might want to buy, or if you want to get Cargo Pro yourself and download everything if you like it all that much. I will be using this, which is a tier list that I made. Feel free to look at the link below if you want to do a tier list of your own. Perhaps you would like to do the same thing as me, or just, for fun, rank them yourself. With that, let's get into this first one here, Aftermath. I use Unreal Engine 5, so that's what I will be viewing them in. Kitbash allows you to use Cargo to download to other things. I believe like Maya, Blender. I can actually pull that up. If you're not an Unreal user, you can go to account. This is my email if you want to email me. Hopefully, uh, let's see here. If I wanted to add a new software, select software, Unreal, Blender, Unity, 3ds Max, Cinema 4D. Okay. So fewer than I thought, but that is still quite a broad range of programs you can download too. For Unreal, you have to choose the version. That's what I've done. Is I chose to download to 5.1. It is possible to download to other versions. Let's say I hit Unreal, select version 5.0, 5.1, 5.2 are the choices currently. There's no Unreal Engine 4, and as of today that I'm filming this, 5.2 is the most advanced version. So let's go back here. Oh, there's an update. I'll let it update. Um, this is Aftermath in Unreal Engine 5. So these buildings are all destroyed. Let me slow down the camera a little bit. That's a little too slow. This should be about right. So this is just in a blank, empty level. You can see it's destroyed buildings. Aftermath is kind of like a post-apocalyptic, or just, like after a bomb, or just like time is worn on. So there are interiors to these. They're not very well developed interiors. This one, actually, this part looks pretty cool. They actually put some bookshelves. Textures are acceptable. I mean, since it's all supposed to be destroyed, it's not supposed to, I would imagine being very, very high def would be sort of like a sunk cost there. So a lot of these packs don't have a lot of interiors. Now, it's not a very high detailed interior. For example, there's no stairwell to the next level. But if you use any of these programs, you can modify the meshes. Um, the tone is kind of monotone. That might have been just a fully stylized choice. There's a lot of assets here. It's a lot. It's a fairly large pack. That you can make a whole city, a destroyed city. You can also use these in, let's say, a non-destroyed city. Like this one could just be like either a bomb exploded a building, or it's being demolished, or it's just a derelict part of town. maybe there's like a big gang warfare and it's like people are like blowing up the side of the building or something like that. You see there's big buildings, there's small buildings. There's a couple different materials, like this one might have been painted at one point on the side. But if you notice, they're all kind of roughly the same color. Back in cargo, if it's, no, it's not updated yet. You can download individual materials and allows you to do that. So if you want to change these around, remix them, or just like get a higher def material. So let's rank this. I like this. I don't think it's amazing, but I think it's pretty solid and has a wide variety of use cases. The meshes also are not too big, file size wise. They actually have somewhat of an interior. A lot of them don't. So I'll probably dock them for those. This is all, by the way, I'm doing a tier list. This is going to be my personal opinion. You might have a totally different opinion. You might have a different use case. I make video games. I'm trying to get into ICVFX too, but I don't know if you're into ArcViz or you're making movies. You might have a totally different purpose for these. Maybe you're just doing art and you just need it for the backgrounds. This would be perfect for that for a lot of things. I'm gonna say this is A tier. I'm ranking these as S tier, as something I will certainly use. If I have anything that's even close to that, I'm going to use that. A tier, I'll say, is something that I would almost certainly use. But I would have to modify, for example, or maybe just use it as background. B tier is something that I really, really like, but I'm not so certain that I can use. That's sort of like a ballpark of where I would put that. C, lacking, I think. Good quality. All of these are great quality, by the way. None of these are bad, which is why there's no F tier. I'm not going to fail any of these. But D is it could use a lot of work. Uh, you'll understand my ranking a bit more as I rank these. So let me open up the next one, which is Age of Egypt. Hopefully this doesn't take too long. But let's see the update. The plugin. It's going to take a minute here as well. So I can talk about this series. So there's a lot of these. There's like 50, a little more than 50, I believe. Let's see. 10, 20. Yeah, around 50-ish packs. Now they'll be adding more packs as time goes on. So that's something to look out for. Oh, look how far away I am. Let me speed this up again. Age of Egypt. This is the new one. I think this looks glorious, actually. Now, obviously, these things would look better if I put them in an environment that matched like the sands, like these were sand dunes. But you can picture, look how detailed these things are. We just compare this to the Aftermath, which everything was like monotone color. Now, there's an overall color scheme here. Like all the stone tends to be roughly the same shade. There's wood. This is really cool up here. The top of the dome is gold. It actually uses gold color. That's beautiful. And it's like perfect for like distance. It's seeing the shine and gleam. That is quite good. So I'm not sure how likely it is I'm going to use Ancient Egypt in one of my games. If I do, this is perfect. I'm using every single asset in that case. But I also can use some of these. Maybe if it's just like Northern Africa, I can use like this building. Or like somewhere in the Middle East could be like this building. Or some of these buildings probably could just be, you know, like out in a desert. Like even Arizona, someone could have made a building like this if they're trying to go like primitivist a bit. Um, like this could be like their garden building or something, right? It doesn't actually have to be ancient Egypt to use these buildings. I can even I could do Las Vegas and like have like the casino be the pyramid, right? Like there's stuff like that. I can even do a mini golf course, and this is where the ball goes if I'm doing mini golf, right? Um, so this has many use cases. Look at the way they set this up, where you're setting up the obelisks like you're actually building it. Um, yeah, this is quality. This is good. This is beautiful. This is their newest as of this video. This is their newest. Oh, look at this greenery. That's great greenery. That's beautiful. You don't often get trees and plants in packs like this, so this is that's like bonus points. So right away, and there's interiors too. Now the interiors aren't perfect. A lot of them are just empty spaces, which you can just fill with stuff. Oh, this one is great. All right, as I said, this one wasn't perfect. This one's actually really good because there's a bunch of stuff in there. It's already like a pre-made environment. But I think I could. Oh, look at this! A pyramid being built. That is gorgeous. So this can become that, or that there's multiple pyramids being built at once, since none of them were all they weren't all built at the same time in real life. So I think this building might be my example of a building that you go in and it doesn't make much sense. Now that's really cool, the mummies. But if I remember right, there's like how would you get up here? Like you need like a ladder that you'd have to put in there or something. Like a lot of these buildings don't quite make sense. Now I'm not going to dock points for that, because these are mostly for environment. These aren't like supposed to be like game ready. That's my job is to make these game ready. But a lot of these there's no way up there. Like architecturally they don't quite make sense. Like I would rate this S minus. Like look at this. I'd absolutely use these in my games, but it would take some work. Oh, that's gorgeous. That is gorgeous. It's too gorgeous to not put as an S tier pack. That's S tier. Um, but it would take some work for my use in particular. All right, this is one of my favorite packs. I'm already a little biased here because I'm intending to use this in a game I'm currently that I'm currently developing. It's Americana. Now, Americana, if you're not familiar with the term, means something that evokes the feeling of like America, especially old-timey America, small-time America. By America, I'm referring to like the United States, although like I guess like Canada sort of has that feel little bit. A lot of North America, like the small town, like the um I don't even know a good reference right now that a lot of people will get, but you'll understand when you see it. It just looks like a small town in the United States. The reason I'll be using this for my game is because the game setting is going to be a small town in the United States. That's supposed to actually be as generic as possible. So having a feature pack with some feature like these things that just like have this universal appeal that evoke like a general feeling, that's ideal. Now I'm not going to build the entire town out of this. There's actually a couple other packs from other creators that I'm going to include. Now I'm not that much of an artist myself, so I don't build stuff too often. I do some original art, but I try to rely on purchased packs like this or like things from the Unreal Marketplace, um, or Sketchfab. I have used photogrammetry to build some of my stuff as well. I actually do wonder if they've used any photogrammetry for these. I don't think they have, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did because KitBash3D stuff is premium. I love it. I'm unlikely to stay subscribed to Pro, um, because I just got to start like working and developing on my stuff. It is nice that I got this inside peek on all of these things by working with this. But and I really appreciate it because if you think about it, these were like $200 a pop. There's like 50. Um, that's a lot of money. Yeah. What is it like 50? 100 times that's a lot of money. So it was only I think $112 for me to actually purchase it. All right. So the shaders have compiled. So this one is quite beautiful. I say that as I zoom in on the what do they call this? The trailer. Um, so this trailer is supposed to be like a lower income person. There's a car that's all derelict and run out, no tires, no windshield. Let me slow this down again. A little too slow. All right. So like here's what I was talking about, the interior. Not only is there nothing in here, but you're gonna see these a lot with these Kitbash, is there's no double-sided textures. That's why it looks very strange. You notice it looks perfectly fine from here, but if you go inside, no interior, but also the texture of the wall is one-sided. So you see through it, and you only see the edge of things that we see the outside of, not the inside. Um, So that's solvable in Unreal Engine, and I guarantee you it's solvable in all the other things you could download it to. So what I can do is find the actual texture of actually this is a blueprint, so I'm gonna have to open the blueprint. In Unreal Engine, there's a convention called blueprints, which is just a collection of the meshes. In this context, it's a collection of meshes. So here's the mesh, and let's say I want to make this wall two-sided. I can go down and find the material that it's made out of. Oh, that's just all right. If I can find the material, I might be able to do it here. Two-sided. Let's see if that worked. It might not have. I might have selected the wrong thing. I think it made that two-sided. Some of these are actually quite complex, so I don't know exactly what I'm looking for. Which is actually good that they made them this complex because it makes them so beautiful. So there's two-sided features here. Now, did I make any headway there? Some things have been added. Well, anyway, if you want it to look more real, more natural, you'll have to make all the materials two-sided from the inside, if you actually want to use them on the inside. If you don't, and you're okay, well, the weird thing about that is if you like peer through the window, you can see the inside, so that's why you like see through this wall here. And honestly, I'm not going to ding it for that. It is something I know how to fix. And these look great. There's like a liquor store. The Lost Sock. It's a coin laundromat. And as you can see here, you look in there and it's weird and invisible, but easily fixed if you know what you're doing. If you have any questions of that, I might make a video about materials and how to fix the KitBash3D in another video, but I've got a lot of meshes, a lot of kits to cover here, so I'll save time for later on that. Eat Like Royalty, Patty Queen. I believe this is the freebie that comes. So the freebies, it's all of Mission of Minerva is free. And there's select packs where I think you get two for most of the ones that are selected. Two meshes, and I believe this is one of the meshes that you get for free. I might be wrong. It might not be Patty Queen. I thought it was, but I might be wrong. I think the drugstore is the other one. Coming soon, so this could be anything. And there's a mini mart on this corner. As you'll see that there's other, like you can combine, it is KitBash. KitBash means taking meshes from a whole bunch of different sources, resources, and sticking them together to make something new, right? That's what that term means. So since KitBash3D, the idea is, you take these various kits and you mix them up. Like maybe a big bomb hits the town, so I use Aftermath on one side, but the areas that didn't get hit, I can use these Americana and be like, oh, the outskirts of this town survived, so they're still in function. And then I can use these kits. See, that's just like a quick, easy story that I put together using some of the assets we just looked at. Now, if Ancient Egypt appeared in the middle of all that, that'd be interesting. But I could, like I said, that you can make the pyramid for like the little mini gulf in town or something like that. Yeah, these are great. King of Rock and Bowl. Now I'm going to make it sound, I think I'm already decided that this is going to be, is this A or S tier? I'm rating things pretty high. There are ones I want to rate lower, so trust me that I'm not going to just put everything at A or S tier. I really wish there were more interiors. There were definitely more interiors. You know what? I'm going to weigh that. Since you can like look in and see these empty things, like even from afar. Look, I'm far away, and I can look into these windows and see that they're empty. It's a fantastic mesh, but I just needed a little more detail here. Like, look at that. You can see in there. I can see all the way to the other side. I can see the Like even if I'm really far away, I can see that the wall in the back is invisible. Um, but these are perfect. I need a mall. And look at this mall. It's prefabricated. It's all put together. Has a bunch of like I like when they make up names for stores and stuff and they add to the like the lore already to whatever you're making. Um that's free writing, right? Toys for Kids, that's like their Toys of Us equivalent. Um and Toys R Us can't sue us because it's legally distinct. But yeah, like this, you can see through and see the invisibility. So I'm gonna dock that. This is just gonna be A tier. I do love it though. I really do love it. I love these towns. I love these houses. But the constant invisible walls and holes, and even if it's not like that in other downloads or even the main pack, if I purchase the whole thing, even if it's not like that, it's like it with this. I'm rating specifically Cargo Pro. Um, so I do love this. It would be S tier, but there's too many messed up textures. I'm rating it A tier. And I need to find my maps again. Maps. Ancients. This is one I find very interesting. I think Ancients can go hand in hand with Age of Egypt, maybe like the Forgotten area. Although these, they're a bit more fantasy. Age of Egypt was a bit more real history. Like these seem like very cool, like maybe they'd work in a desert terrain or even a jungle terrain. They're a bit alien too. Like they look like ancient temples. You get these weird textures, these weird divots and holes. I don't know if they have any reference for that. You see from afar, this looks like a cool ancient city. Like that's getting near the ground. This is like a cool ancient city that I can explore. They all are kind of covered with rubble. So that's something that can be. Let me look into one of the blueprints. Like if I wanted this to be ancient times, obviously there want to be rubble everywhere. Could I remove the rubble, or is that part of the mesh? Let's see. I'll bring this up here so you can see it a little better. So if I zoom in the rubble, can I click on individual pieces of rubble? No, it's all. I believe it is all baked into the mesh. I'll pull up that individual mesh. Yeah. Could I make it invisible though? That's possible. Isolate. Um, so what if... All right, I can select the rubble. If I wanted this to be clean, maybe I just... Oh, there's another level of rubble too? Okay. I probably could just get rid of those elements and then it would look clean. So there is a way to clean it up. So if I wanted to make it, it is ancient times, I am on an alien world, and the rebels not everything's dead, I can make this look a lot cleaner. It would take some work though. I do like the way it is set, because I think this is for like a jungle or desert adventure, alien planet, that kind of thing. Um, there's some realistic elements to this, but I don't know. They're way too tall. This is definitely a fantasy. Look at this ball. If that's part of real architecture, please let me know, because I don't think there's some ancient architecture with a giant ball entrance. Um, not that's wrong. Alien's good. You need stuff for alien environments, and not all of these. Some are more far fetched than others. And who knows what? Like some, I think this is supposed to be like so ancient it's unrecorded, so nobody knows. Like this looks a, even though it's grand, it looks a bit more realistic. Some are bigger than others. See what's in the on the inside. So it's got that no double texture thing. But that shouldn't be necessarily bad. I know how to fix that. These are so tall for ancient structures. What practical use? But I mean, that's part of the mystery of the ancient things. It's like we can't discern the use of what it would be. Like this might be an arena in the middle or something. They were very liberal with the rubble, which again is not necessarily a bad thing. They really like the square holes as well. I like this. Um, to me, it seems of limited use, though. Oh, that's kind of cool. Maybe an ancient tower. You can even put this in like a medieval thing that's just like sitting there. There's just a bunch of towers and a big rock. You don't have to use the bases. You can chop them up. It is KitBash after all. Um, this is very well done. It is kind of monotone. I'm going to rate this as a B. Right as a B. Still good. Could use it. Not top of my list. I, however, do enjoy it. No, I don't need to save that. We're going to move on to Arc Vogue, like stylish modern buildings. So I have a big need for modern buildings. There are a couple modern building packs. Some of them are very targeted, like Brooklyn or LA. Other are general, like there's one called Every City and this Arc Vogue. It's a general style. Now, right off the bat, you can see something that I don't like about it is that they're all empty. Not that I expect them to fill it, but it's part of the style here. This glass, you see this nice reflection off the glass. It's part of the style that these are all like glass paneled buildings. Of course, that reveals there's nothing in them. Sorry about that. I had to sneeze in the middle of recording. Um, and there's also nothing between floors. Like you'd have to go in and like cut a hole, make an elevator, cut another hole, make stairs if you wanted to actually use these buildings for anything. Even way in the background, though, you can see that all the buildings are empty. You'd have to fill them with something, or I guess the easy way would be to change the color of the glass from just a reflective surface to like something solid, maybe like a reflective black. Like the sun's hitting them in a way you can't see in, or they're actually intentionally tinted. You could fill it with stuff. It is kind of strange that there's also a lot of columns in these buildings. Like everything's just columns. Um, most floors and most buildings, I mean, these could be turned into walls and just like this is a hallway and you walk this way, that kind of thing. You can do that. You can see it that way. But if it was an open floor, you probably wouldn't see so many columns. Um, they're all under construction. It is beautiful though. I like the architecture. It just feels unfinished, even though there's some nice outside pieces. You know what? This probably has some of the best textures that we've seen so far. Actually, you know what? These textures are pretty terrible. Look at the grass. The wood's fine, but that's a weird grass. But I think you're supposed to see that from afar. You're not supposed to get close to it. Even from afar, that's a little weird, though. Yeah, it is a little weird. Hit or miss with these textures. Um, I'm gonna fight the urge to give this a D. I'm gonna give this a C. Arc Vogue is a C. It's gonna take too much work to make it usable. It is nice though. Um, the idea is nice. It just feels like it could use a lot of work. Let's go to Art Deco. See, I told you I wasn't going to highly rate every single kit. And again, even if I rated a D, these are all phenomenal. So I'm keeping that in mind. That this is like higher art than I could create at this point in my career. And possibly never ever create this level of art. Um, I shouldn't say never. I'm all right. It's just not my goal, which is why I'm here buying this stuff, giving them money because they deserve it. Oh, that's a nice gold shimmer. The shapes are kind of weird. So this pack's called Art Deco. I like Art Deco as a style. You can I suggest looking it up if you don't know what Art Deco is. It's a fantastic architectural style. These are kind of cool bridges. What you can do is like duplicate them, maybe flip them around, and there you go, made a bridge. I actually like the way they did that because it's a smaller file. If it's just half rather than the full bridge, and you can like modularly make it. That's kind of cool. I kind of wish they did that for more of the build. And this is absurdly tall. I know that's supposed to be part of the style. Um, Art Deco also feels older though, like turn of the century, 1900s kind of stuff. Maybe a little off there, like I don't know, 20s, 30s. Um, but also this is a bit fantastical. It's a fantastical style. Some of this was kind of a little bit like evocative of games like BioShock. You probably saw stuff like this gold panel. But this one's on the surface because these are above the water buildings. You can see down here that these doors are kind of weird. I like it. I really do. I don't see much use for it. Maybe I can use one of the more realistic buildings just in a city. Just like one, throw it in there. Although I do love the bridges. I think the bridges are the highlight here. These are cool Art Deco bridges that you can just throw into like a cool city. Maybe a city builder game or something, or if you just have a really cool Art Deco. I don't like the bricks. Not that I have anything against bricks, it's just everything is the same brick. Obviously, that's up for you to change. You can make it different, but everything is brick. Nothing is anything but this exact size brick, and I don't think that's something you can change. Unless I'm wrong, let me double check. Is that baked into the mesh, or is that part of the stone deco? Let's see. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, it is the material. Um, what if I change this to, what am I even looking at here? Look at the viewport, this building. What if I change this to steel? Will it still be bricks? Yes, it is. So that is part of the, oh no, it's not. Okay, so you can make that whatever you want. So I rescind my objection. You can make that whatever you want. The brick's just a placeholder. Looks great. No, it looks great. I just thought it was weird that everything was brick, but you can change to whatever you want, so that doesn't matter. Um, would I ever use this? Are there even doors? Do any of these have doors? Like real doors, not just crazy Art Deco things that look more like is that supposed to be a door? I suppose you can cut open a door and add it from something else, like either another kit or another source. It's weird that there's no doors. Those doors? They don't look like doors to me. These might be doors. Maybe? Like, I feel like doors would be right here. Now, I think this requires a lot of modification. I'm going to put this C tier. It's nice. It's great for backgrounds. But it's going to take a lot of work to make it usable. Again, these visible interiors, which is going to be a common theme. This is just how these are made. They're great for backgrounds if you're making a scene. Yep, I'm sticking with that. C tier. Art Deco. C tier. I kind of want to put it B. I like it better than Art Vogue, though, so I'll put it over here. If it lets me. Yeah, right there. I'm going to do it so it's like left to right as well. For like a minor boost. And the next, after Art Deco, is Art Nouveau, a similar style. Actually, I'm not sure that's fair to say similar style. It's a completely different style, but similar in that it is a definitive style of like a time and place in the world. Uh, I like how when it loads in everything's checker, and I'm like, oh no, did I destroy all the textures? Oh, okay, I already like this better. Maybe I'm just a more of an Art Nouveau person than an Art Deco person, but even though these look kind of fantastic, I feel like they're a bit Victorian. Um, maybe less Victorian England and more like Victorian France. uh, you see, if you go down like you're walking, this look kind of good. There's enough reflectivity there. I could put stuff in there to make it look like a real place. Oh, that's kind of weird. This wall is visible on this side. But why is it even there if I can't see it on this side? Like, why is it interesting? That's going to take some work. Gorgeous and beautiful, though. How would I walk in here? Oh, there's a door. There's an actual door. That's all I'm asking for is actual doors. See, door. This is already a B minimum. Can I rank it A? Are these good enough to be A class? I think so, actually. I think I like this Art Nouveau. What's going on here? Oh, that's a shadow. That's not part of it. The roofs are a bit tall and pointy, but that can be added as a style point. We already discovered that these are adjustable in the other pack. The buildings are large, not too large. This is one's a bit thin. Not all of them are. Some are more. How realistic is this space-wise? Actually, kind of unrealistically small spaces per compartment. Is it though? Trying to imagine if I was an actual character-sized character in this game. Because I'm coming from the game perspective here. If I put these in my game and I was walking around, I walk up here, I go in. Where's the door? I'd have to make a door on this one, huh? There's no real door. This was a door. Okay, yeah, there's plenty of space. Some of these are larger than others too. Let's see what the size comparison is. So those are actually the larger ones. There's no really big ones. But if I'm just padding out of town, maybe mix this with Victorian kit. What do you think, A or B? I'm going to go A. I like it. I just like Art Nouveau. I'm a sucker for that. So Art Nouveau, A tier, but I don't like it as much as these. Oh, speaking of putting it left and right, I like Americana better than Aftermath. So let's move that over there. Art Nouveau's there. Brooklyn. I was talking about modern cities. The first one we're opening here is Brooklyn. This is modeled after Brooklyn, New York, New York City. It's one of the boroughs. My father was actually born in Brooklyn. Now, I did notice when I was looking through these earlier that a lot of them aren't exact buildings, but like inspired by Brooklyn buildings. Well, it's the Manhattan one that I noticed that with. I'm not as familiar with Brooklyn buildings, so these might be somewhat exact, but I'd imagine they're also just inspired by inspired by. So it feels reminiscent of Brooklyn. Picnic basket. That's some extra theme there. Now, I've seen many pictures of Brooklyn. Brooklyn's been in a lot of movies. This does give me the evocative feeling because right now I'm like walking through it like it's a town. I set up all these levels, by the way. This isn't something that it came out with. I just put these all together after I downloaded them. Just threw them into a blank map. Yeah, this feels like Brooklyn. Nice shiny glass. Some of these buildings are pretty large, though, right? Yeah. Nice and wide, nice and tall. This one's pretty huge. If I was a character to walk in here, that'd be a lot of space for me to explore. Okay, there's a large variety of buildings. Some are tall, some are short. There's skyscrapers, and there's like more, like these buildings are closer to the Americana buildings. They even have like themes. That's time building. Okay. I'm tempted to give this S tier. I don't think I will, though. I'm going to give this A tier. I like it. Put it right here next to Americana. It's not as detailed as Americana. So it doesn't... I'm actually tempted to... All right. Now we're doing city street. Some of these packs, they're not all buildings. Some are stuff to go along with the scene, go along with the environment. There's not many that I would say are like purely wilderness. A lot of them are more urban or suburban. Um, like this is fairly urban. This is in the city. You'll see like benches. You know, this could be in a park or near a bus stop. I believe there is one for bus stop here. So there's this sign. They got even flavor text on it. Coronavirus, prepare and prevent for more peace of mind. And there's like text that you can even read down there. Actually, I like this a lot. I think this is S tier right off the bat. Let's see if I can find a reason to make it not S tier. There's porta potties. I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this in a lot of things. This is going to pad out my environments. It's telephone booth, traffic lights. So traffic lights are interesting. Let me open this up because I like the buildings where the doors can open and close. I also like lights where that you can change. Like, can I change these? Can I animate them? Lamps. What if I turn that so they blank out? Edit. So I want to see if I can make it so that they, like the red hand could start blinking, and this could pop up, or if it's just statically like this. When I make a game, I like to make sure that it can change and feel more real. What is this texture like? I suppose I could just make my own textures. That's interesting. So it's like an Atlas texture with all the different lights. Yeah, I probably could make a little blueprint. I don't see the... Where are they? I don't see the little man or the hand. Oh, they're up here. Okay. Yeah, they're structured. It's really tightly atlased up there. Yeah, I probably can make a blueprint to make that work. That's kind of cool. Yeah, this is S tier. So this is a subway, so probably have to lift this up to show the whole thing. So you're actually walking down here, and then I can like bust out this wall to make an actual subway. Um, little construction here. If I lift this up, do I see anything, or is it? Okay, no, it's just an actual hole. I can make a hole in my world. This is another thing that goes down. Yep. Like another subway thing. Nice, 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 nice. And they even give you a sample billboard. Yeah, this is just fantastic. I am certainly going to use these in... Oh, this is still taking time. Oh, it wants me to close Unreal, that's why. I guess I'll close this then. City Streets? S tier. Actually, you know what? Better than Egypt. I like it better than Egypt. City Streets is amazing. So then we move on to Colonial. Now this one's interesting. It's going to be along the lines of the Art Nouveau, Art Deco. It's a colonial style. Let's see how much I like this though. All right, so I said the other one's like Art Nouveau is like more like France. This is kind of reminiscent of that as well. But maybe I just don't know my European countries. Maybe colonial's more German or something. If anybody here is from Europe, comment on which one of these styles is more reminiscent of which countries or which one uses what mix of what. If you recognize any of these buildings as well, let me know. Even if it's from fantasy, it doesn't have to be from real life. I like doors. Sometimes we seen that they don't always use doors, so that's nice. This is comically large for such an old type of building, and has like weird corridors way up top. So this is more fantasy. Some of the smaller buildings might be realistic or semi-realistic. Like this one could be realistic, I think. Very small though for this building. some of the larger buildings are very impractical, very... Why is there a door up here? um, so this is reminding me of some of the crazy video games like BioShock Infinite or Dishonored or something like that. Where you're like jumping around to get way up here, and then you can like walk in the door or something. Ride the rail across, stuff like that. Um, these would look great in the back. I probably wouldn't use this. Um, they are very well put together, however, very impractical in fantasy. Am I going to make a fantasy game anytime soon? Probably not. Though if I do, this would be fantastic for me. Just from weirdness alone, I want to dock at a point. So let's... I love it, but I'm also going to put it at B tier, which is still great. B is still great. Don't mistake that for me saying that Colonial is not a solid pack. This is just, again, based on my intended use as well as how I perceive the quality of the pack. If you agree with me, let me know. If you disagree with me, feel free to chew me out one way or another. Although I will lean on the authority granted to me by my fabulous mustache on what the style of architecture could be, even though I have no education or knowledge in architecture in that way. I do have the mustache, so I think that leaves me some credence. This one's Cyber Districts. This was kind of like City Streets, but for like cyberpunk or some sort of futuristic thing. Mostly cyberpunk. Not to be confused, cyberpunk the genre, not to be confused with Cyberpunk 2077, which if you're in video games, you probably know exactly what that is, made by CD Projekt Red. So cyberpunk's a genre, originally a literary genre, about dystopia and fighting against it. That's the punk, right? The future dystopia being cyber, and like taking away humanity, making androids or cyborgs, whatever, or just technologies that infringe upon your rights. And punk is your fight against it. Cool sharks. You know what? This might be S tier as well, even though I'm not sure I'm going to make a cyberpunk world. If I was, this is exactly what I'd need. Like, this is another subway. Yep. I'm also tempted to give this A tier just because I'm not intending to make a cyberpunk world of my own. I mean, if anybody wants to hire me to make a cyberpunk world, uh, yeah, I accept. That's a nice computer store. This is gorgeous. There's a lot of the detail. You put this in with the cyberpunk buildings. It tells a story. That's what I like about this. Is it's telling a story. Noodle Shop's a staple of cyberpunk. A lot of cyberpunk movies in particular came around in the 80s when everyone thought like Japan and a lot of Eastern countries were going to take over technologically, so that the only feasible food was, like uh ramen noodles. All their food would be either extinct or unreasonably expensive, so they'd always show noodle shops like in Blade Runner. There's a bookstore. The thing about these is they're thin, but I guess that's supposed to be because they're on the side of a building and it's a premium for space. Actually, that fits the cyberpunk theme because everyone gets spaced out. There's not enough. They get priced out rather for space. I'm sure they get spaced out too when they try their cyberpunk drugs. For a second, I thought this was a hammock, and it might be, but I don't think that was the intent. And there's just entrance to a building. I'd imagine a lot of these entrances to buildings aren't. They're supposed to be for aesthetic, not actually characters walking in there. Yeah, this would be a great supplement. I'm gonna put this as S tier. I wanted to rank it A tier because I'm not gonna do Cyberpunk, but it's really good quality and it tells a story, which I really appreciate. And all the ones with the name Cyberpunk in it are, since we're doing alphabetical, are next. So those um district storefronts and such would be probably mixed up with this one, which would be the cyberpunk buildings themselves, the tall skyscrapers, the crazy dystopian environment. Something that I really appreciate, but I again don't plan to work with anytime soon, unless CD Projekt Red hires me. And if you work for CD Projekt Red, I'm a great designer, so please interview me. Um, self plug, say shameless self plug. Ethereum. Okay, this is something I love about this kit. They make up names for like each building. Each building has a name. Ethereal biotech. I like that. The future of AI biotech is now, and it's timely. Ooh, I love that. All right, I barely looked at anything, and I've already put this in S tier in my mind. Ethereal. Okay. Oh, I'm getting a performance drop here. I might have to restart the engine. I've been opening up a lot of files. There we go. There we go. What's this building? Metaverse building? Nice. Augment. Metaverse. Yeah, these are perfect. If I was going to make a Cyberpunk 2077 clone or just my own Cyberpunk world, or just like an environmental artist scene that I'm creating for maybe an environment or like middle movie I'm putting together, by making an homage to Blade Runner, these are perfect. It doesn't have to be a strictly cyberpunk world too. You can put these buildings in any future worlds. And the core thing doesn't have to be cyberpunk. You can mix this with some of the utopia stuff, and just like there's a capitalist district, but everything else is different. Um, it doesn't have to be dystopia. It can just be the future. I don't think ads like this are going away anytime soon. In fact, they probably will get this bad in real life. So it doesn't have to be a um, an unrealistic dystopia. Just the dystopia we have at home. Stuff we currently have. Crypto safe. Yeah. Uh, there's my point exactly. High performance gaming. Hey, that's my job. Stop making fun of me. 3D Kit Bash. Kit Bash 3D, I mean. um ACPD joined today. Oh, that's like the police department. Cool. Um ACPD, right? So what would AC? What's the name of the city? A what's the A stand for? Something City? Something City Police Department? Maybe it'll be on one of these signs. All City. I bet that's what it is. Like all City Police Department. I bet you that's what it is. Crypto safe ad on this building. Nice. Yeah, I haven't seen anything to change my mind. Let's jump in the building. Yep, it's gonna take some work, but that's all the buildings. So much on the outside though. Look how cyberpunk it. Like all these banners, all this neon. There's doors. And this is a very low res that I downloaded, and that is gorgeous for a low res picture. I'm intentionally not going super high res in any of these. One, it'd probably just like crash my system. Two would be humongous files, and I'm downloaded all of them. The Rogue recharging station, nice. Ethereal biotech, ransomware. Live Saturday, nice. Future of AI biotech is now. AI biotech. Mm-hmm. Ransomware. I could get lost in this already. think I've only looked at half the buildings. All right, I've got a mini mortar review, so let's just go ahead and give this a test here. I've been... Actually, you know what? Right there. I like it that much. Cyber Streets. This is also a cyberpunk one. This is more of like the what's going on in the streets. Smaller, I'd imagine smaller assets. I'll probably restart after this one loads. Okay, yeah, it's a smaller pack anyway. Whoa, I jumped through it. So this is like a garage. Yeah, this is a bit more modular. This is actually kind of similar to the Cyber Districts, like a smaller pack. But nice high detailed stuff, like a little store. So this is almost like Cyber Districts Part 2, or maybe Cyber Districts is Cyber Streets Part 2. Stuff you'd see in the streets, stuff you'd see like next to buildings. Like you could put these next to any of the buildings that we were just looking at. Even insert them, cut a little hole and insert them. This would be like in a little center in the middle, or down an alley, little noodle shop. We're already talking about noodle shops. Whoa, jumped through it. As you see, if we're on the inside, there's I'm not seeing through the walls, which is nice. So I might have to just concede that they're all... Oh, this is interesting. So instead of having mannequins, there are screens showing you what it looks like on someone. Huh. That's something about Cyberpunk. It's not just practical future technology. It is just like shameless anachronisms mixed in too because of its time period and genre of it being written. It's not supposed to be an accurate depiction of the future. Macchiato Express. I can read all those, which is nice. Coffee. Your caffeine patch. Nice. This smaller pack. You know what? I'm going to downgrade this just because it's a smaller pack. There's less in it. A tier. Because if you're going to buy one, let it be Cyber Districts. If you need the full package, absolutely get this. However, I'm not in the market for Cyberpunk. I know I've been rating them high, so that makes me sound hypocritical there. But that is an A tier right there. Now we've got the Dark Fantasy set. I actually like this set a lot as well. It would be the base for any like medieval Europe. And the way this is like all gothic, the architecture, it's a little bit fantasy. It could be Eastern Europe, Western Europe. It's really all how you dress it up. It's all stony and monotone. Hopefully the environment tells a better story than that. There are like big spires though. I like this one. Like you can have a carriage come through this area. There's a lot of like towers. Like this could be like a... You can even put a clock in there if you wanted, but you don't need to. It's just nice stained glass. A lot of really small areas, so just be like a guard post. You can also use things like this. The towers can use to build like a bigger castle. These are kind of semi-modular too. Like this, I think it might be this one. One of these castles is part of the free bit, but if you open up the blueprint, which I'm assuming that in other sets it does this differently. So there's like different parts to it. You can remix and match these and make your own blueprint out of different parts. This is all a solid piece though, in the middle. But like you can rearrange towers, that kind of thing, if you want to make your own. Like the statue doesn't have to be here. You can put another statue or more statues. This is quite gorgeous though. This could even be in a modern town. Like a European city that still has like an old castle or cathedral. Like this could just be in the middle of like a more modern environment, like the old town. You can mix these in. Or even in the US, maybe you have an eccentric billionaire who's building like a demonic chapel, and this statue's in the middle. like old New England. Now, I wouldn't recommend putting all these buildings in that context, but if you put all the buildings in Europe, that would work. If it's medieval Europe or medieval, maybe like near Europe or something. Or these could be just miniatures. Maybe you have characters that are playing a Dungeons and Dragons game, and it's like this is on the table, not rather than being full size. That'd be fun too. If they weren't all dark gothic, I would and they were a bit more modular and a bit more like there's a little here and there. I don't think I could call this S tier, but it's certainly A tier. I want to call it S tier, but I think there's little here and there, little too fantasy, and there's like no true like medieval accurate. But then again, that's so far back that people don't understand whether things are accurate or not. And I think some of these are modeled after real buildings as well. So that like I want to give this S tier. But I'm not making medieval games, so I will rank this A tier. Dark fantasy, A. A is getting a lot. Don't have any D's yet. There will be D's, I'm sure, but what's next? Diesel Punk. I do like that stained glass, though. That is quite beautiful. That's why they made it A tier. They got just little beautiful details like that. Honestly, I could put Arc Vogue in D. I might change my mind with that one. I reserve the right to change my mind anytime during this video. And this is just my ranking for now. Maybe in the future I'll do a ranking a couple years down the line when there's a couple more assets. We shall see. So this is Dieselpunk. If you're not familiar with Dieselpunk, you can think of it similar to steampunk, but instead of steam-powered inventions and worlds, it's basically oil-powered diesel fuel. The future is rising. Stand with us. Oh, they told a whole story here. Oh, I was gonna rank this lower, but I forgot about the story. That's gonna add points. Definitely add points. So there's like a whole train tunnel here. That's nice. Oh, look at this. An interior that's not double-sided. Okay, this is getting more points. Right now I got this about A tier in my mind. The only reason it's not S tier is because like I don't foresee ever building a diesel punk world. I mean, this can be kind of combined with like a steampunk environment or even a Victorian environment. Maybe this is part of the industrial area. Um, Obviously, you can't just use this giant gear thing unless it's some sort of like eccentric mad scientist in your story or something. If you want it to be like realistic, not many of these buildings would work for that. But if it's like steampunk versus diesel punk, that would be a pretty fun combination. Or even more a modern building that's supposed to be just like really, really eccentric, like it's an art piece rather than like actually part of the functional environment. Because I've seen art pieces like in airports or even in big cities that have a lot of artists in it. They'll do something like this just to be fun. East Motel. Like I can see like maybe in Portland, someone building a hotel like that with a big gear on the side. It's just to draw attention, draw people in who want to stay there. Phenomenal place to live in Watson City. I love that they named this. Like the AC. I never figured out what that was. I'm guessing it's just like All City PD for the Cyberpunk. Well, here in this is Watson City is the worlds they created for. Now you can obviously put whatever you want. You can change that sign and still use the rest of the mesh. Oh, this is a beautiful building. Does this have a name? Palace. XL Palace. So this is what it would look like if you're down here, walking in the door, you walk out, boom, look how tall that is. How far away do I have to get from it before I can even like this far? That is very far, almost as nearly as far away from it as it is tall to even like see the top because it's so grand and big. And look at that that lion. Nice gold lion. Might be coming around and changing my mind about making a game. Like this world would probably suit something like Dishonored, although it's a little I think even a little more fantastic than that in ways. I know there's magic in that game, but There's just a lot of fanciful stuff going on here. Starlight Casino, so this is the casino. You're really pushing it. I might have to make this S tier. Um, just from the quality. Just from the quality. Like I don't want to make this S tier, but I might have to because of the quality. I'm looking for reasons not to make this S tier. Let's go in the building. It's not so bad. They've had worse. And like if I look in the mirrors or windows rather, um, it's not too bad. Normally the windows like they accounted for it. Like I can't look like if I'm walking and I'm playing a game and I'm looking in those windows, I don't need to fill up the whole thing to make it real. What about this? This actually might be a little worse. Yeah, I can see in there. But I can fill that easily and fix that up. Um I think just for the impracticality of some of these, I might make it A tier. Yeah, I'm spending too much time on this. I'm gonna make it A tier. I love it. I could change my mind on this, but it's A tier. DMZ. This is DMZ is an acronym meaning demilitarized zone. See the loading screen. Loading DMZ. So this is a more of a realistic military one. I'm actually a combat veteran. I've been in war zones before. So let me use my expertise. I was in the United States Air Force, and I served during Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom. So let's see if I recognize some of this stuff. DMZ. Well, DMZ is not exactly the war zone. It's like the area between as the words, demilitarized zone. So you're gonna see some kind of messed up stuff. Looks like someone's making food here. What do they call this? Is there a name for it? Kitchen tent. Okay. Soldiers getting food. So it's like the border, like the border wall. There's going to be this small period between like the soldier standing over here and the soldier standing over here. In the middle, you have the DMZ, and it could be a couple feet, it could be miles or kilometers if you're actually using a measuring system that makes sense. So you end up with dirty stuff because nobody's going to come in there and clean, right? But you also end up with stuff like this, like spikes trying to keep people out. But you don't get janitors walking in DMZ because it's the demilitarized zone. Nobody's allowed to go in there. Administration, vendor. So if you end up living in the DMZ, that's really bad because either side can just shoot you. So you're in pure desperation if you're here and not one of the soldiers guarding one side of the border or the other. Tomatoes, not the best looking tomatoes, but I think they're supposed to be seen from afar anyway. Not supposed to go right up to them. And you can swap those out. Those are independent parts. You can remove the grass. I mean, you can make this like grass or gravel instead of dirt. This is actually really nice. If I was making like a war zone, a war game, these would be essential parts. But I'm not making a war game. Um, they are rather dirtied up, which could be seen as a good thing. The part I don't like that about them is there's a lot of vegetables for a DMZ, and a lot of them are those semi-stylized tomatoes, and I'm not a big stylized guy, but this could be a stylized game or stylized senior setting. Um, I'm giving this a B. They're actually really good assets, so that's a B. Elysium. This one I don't get. The only thing that I can really compare it to is maybe like Heaven and Diablo. You see those like huge arcs. Most of the buildings are like floating. I think that's all the way down too. So like I could make it try to like say that it doesn't match up because the it's like the building's supposed to be floating, so like a cloud city, an alien city of some type. Um, it is beautiful. I like these trees that are included with it, and it's golden. if I was making some sort of heaven level, some sort of like crazy elf palace maybe, or an alien world. This is where like the true Protoss city looks like, or from StarCraft or something. I don't know. Um, I don't see use for it, but it is beautiful. So I can't really give it a D because of the quality that went into this. I want to give it a D though because it is weird. Although I'm not even sure. Yeah, you know what? I can give this a C. I can give it a C. Not because it's bad. It's just I can never see a use for this. Even like a one-off. Trying to think of a way I can just like throw one in. Maybe this one in a fantasy world. Maybe where the wizards live or something. This is like the wizards tower. Maybe that can bump it up to a B. No, I'm weighing this on what I would use. I'm not going to use this. It's cool if that's what you want to use, but I am going to say it's not terrible, but it's a C. Very usable if that's what you're looking for. I'm not looking for it though, so I will rank it C. Next is Every City. So I like this pack because it's every city, allegedly. Actually, you know what? Even though it's allegedly every city, not all of these are buildings that I would see in every city. Like, you see these buildings in the back? Those kind of... They seem like very specific buildings, like this one in particular, or this one. Like, this one could be in a lot of cities, I guess. So this is supposed to be, like, the pack that you get. And look, this one's, like, all clear. Actually, you know what? I am docking points left and right, actually, giving a closer look at this stuff. Are there doors? That's another... No, there's no doors. Now there's another pack called Storefronts where you can just probably, like, jam them in here. Maybe even lift up the building and put the storefronts in there. That's an option. But actually these are quite impractical. I like building cities. You see, this is what I was saying earlier with you know, if you can't see inside, do a color like this. If there's nothing to see inside. So that's actually a good point for it. So these are just supposed to be background. These are just background pieces. There's like no real doors to these things. They're hollow. They're actually not that high. Well, that brick's not bad. I'm gonna say not that high res, but it's kind of cool. There's no theming to it though. There's no sign. I kind of generic. I'd say leave it. Um, I like this wedge building. That's actually useful for a lot of cities. Because there's utility to these, and they're just kind of background, like... It's empty. Yeah, I'm gonna give this a C. I would want to give something like this a S, because I like building cities, but I think they could have done better there. There's proof up here that they could do better. Still, better than I could do on my own. So I will be using that pack. Because that's exactly what I'm building. Probably bumped it up from a D. So Favelas, I think this is the name of an actual city, an actual town, known for its, pardon if this is culturally insensitive, but for its squalor. It might be the name like maybe that means squalor, I don't know. Um, or means slums, maybe. Uh, please correct me, let me know in the comments. And that's exactly what you're getting here, slums. So this could be a whole slum city. It could just be a region. It could just be a derelict part of town, or just like a shack that's above. Like this could be just a shack in the swamp. It doesn't have to necessarily be part of a city. This definitely looks like a crumbling city. There's a lot of detail here, a lot of story. You know what? I wanted to rank this low, but I think this is a Solid B. And the reason it's not higher is because the textures are not that great. There's so much detail, so much life, so much love of whoever made this. Now I can go in and retexture it. But again, that's work. What's in the buildings? Nothing? Yeah, okay. But there's a lot of details. I could practically throw this together and make a slum city. Like just throw the assets in and done. Yeah, B. Love it. B is not bad. Despite the fact that bad starts with B. So next is future slums. I still have yet to rank something D. Maybe I'm being too easy on it. Maybe I'll reshuffle at the end. Because I think some things do deserve Ds. So this is... Alright, so I think this pack's made differently. Because you see, like, the backs of this are just walls. I think these are just supposed to be, like, corridors or background, you know? Like, I could throw this off in the background and actually have what's going on in the foreground. Or, like, I can have the characters running through it, like a zombie apocalypse, and that's just one side wall barrier. And, like, this is the other side barrier, and I'm, like, running through. Like, you're never supposed to see these back walls. And they all have got that. So I'm docking points there. And they're all repetitive. They're all the same. Like, I'm not crazy, right? These are just, like, repeating. Yeah. There's some variation, but, like, it's basically the same on every mesh. It's a new combination of stuff. There's some signs here. Okay, so I can see a use case for this. Zombie apocalypse. This one's got a backing. Some of them do. But the textures aren't great. Look at how local res that is. And most of them are repetitious. I mean, if you need like a destroyed world or zombie apocalypse, I think we found our first D. It has its benefits. Like again, none of these are Fs, which is why there's not even F tier, but I'm putting that as our first D. This one's interesting, guy. It's very like fantasy or future sci-fi. Think of it as like a not quite Avatar worlds, but along the lines. Maybe if like hippies took over the future, or it's an alien world. It could be fantasy. This could even be medieval fantasy if there's like a druid organization or something. Some Asian themes shapes here as well, like their wicker baskets. And the way the banners are. It's supposed to be alien, I believe. But that also can just be like a fantasy race. Something I don't like about these is the interiors don't make any sense. Let's get a bigger building so I can make that... Actually, this interior doesn't make any sense either. You just go up, like... Wait, how would you even get up there? They made that all one. Let's do a lot of work. So allegedly, you're supposed to go up here in the building. Look how tight that is. Why would you make that? Like, there's no building to go into it. How would you get to this floor? There's, like, chairs here. There's no way up here, though. You'd have to work with that. It's gorgeous, though. I like the way these look. But it's not about the inside just being invisible. That's easily fixed. But, like, the insides are impractical for walking around. I know it's not really designed for that. It's designed... Look at this building. It's twin building. Here's a core example. Oh, I like this wall. It's also impractical. Not that things have to be practical. But walking up here, because I'm looking at this from a game perspective. I mean, this is kind of cool, the bridge. But then you just walk back down, right? You walk right out on the other side. Was there even a way inside? There is. Okay. But then it's empty. That's not so bad. There are worse ones here. Like, I think this one. I walk in here. Oh, no, that's not bad at all. This. How would I get up there? Maybe I could make it so there's like an elevator in the middle. Oh, no, there's stairs. But can you get up the stairs? Some of these stairs and oh, this is in the way. Speaking of impractical. Alright, so you walk up these... Did I just walk through something? No. Just tight. Walk up here. Then there's nothing. And there's no way up here either. So unless... Yeah, there's no way up here. Despite the fact there's chairs and like a thing. No way up to that ball. It ends here. You can't get up. Huh. Maybe these are supposed to be elevators? But they're like attached. You can see the bamboo's like hard attached. Hmm. An alien world that's not supposed to be explored is impractical? What? You can make them more practical or just like... This is what made me... I used to play World of Warcraft. I used to go to Ironforge and I'd see all the houses up on the ridges and I'll be like, why can't I go to those houses? Clearly, people are living in those houses. So that's the kind of thing that bothers me. I like to explore, and these are anti-exploration houses. But it's beautiful, it's gorgeous, it's inventive. A tier. You know what? No, not A tier, because I can't see using it. So B tier. Goliath. These is interesting. So this has its own style as well. It's kind of Art Deco, but more Art Deco than the Art Deco pack, I think, is the way to describe it. Also big motorists. There's extra road sections here for like driving across this crazy Atlas inspired. Look at those. Look at those statues. Oh, that's gorgeous. Very stylized. Is that a door? Can't tell if that's a door or not. Open up the blueprint. Zoom in. It's not. Okay. I thought it was going to be a door. It is a door-like structure. There are, in fact, it's one giant door-like structure that goes through the entire building. Huh. Okay. Do any of these buildings have doors? Because that's going to be a minus for me. No, that one's on door. That looks like a door. Do some of the buildings have doors then? Okay, door. It's not a door. It just looks like a door. It's a false door. Or this one. Oh, all false doors. All right, this is meant to be seen and not used. I could cut out the door and add my own. At least there's a place for it. That's docking at some points. That is gorgeous, though. I can even see putting one of these buildings in a real city. It's just like a super artsy, or even like a semi-modern fantasy, like a 30s fantasy, 20s fantasy. Or just like not fully realistic. It doesn't have to be like fantasy. Or it could just, be themed like this, like a Metropolis kind of Great Gatsby on steroids. All right, so these buildings are gorgeous. I can't give it a D. I can't give it a C, I don't think. I think this is B material. Without functioning doors, it can't get any higher than B, but it is absolutely gorgeous. You know what? Downgrading it to C because I'm not going to use this. That's one of my standards. So, C-list Goliath. I want it to be higher, but it's not. Heavy metal. I don't know what to make out of heavy metal. Like, it could be a little bit, post-apocalyptic or alien worlds, fantasy. It might be called heavy metal because I don't know if you've ever seen Heavy Metal, the cartoon from forever ago. There's some of those elements, those like space sorcery elements to it, but also like very futuristic and also like worn down post-apocalyptic. It's just weird. You could throw these in a modern setting for like a art piece or like the Some of them are too weird to do that with. It would really have to be some sort of like space opera, fantasy, even Star Wars-esque in some of these at least. The only place that these holistically all work together is like a crazy like post-apocalyptic space opera kind of deal. Um, like this is like kind of a boat. I think that's actually what it's called. But it's like a building boat that's supposed to be like I guess you could put it in the water, but I think it's supposed to be in the desert. But you know it's KitBash, so you can do whatever you want with it. You know what? I don't like this at all. What about doors? If it has no doors, I'm giving it a D. Just because it's so weird and not my taste. But if it's got doors, I'll have a C. That's not a door. Just one building. One building with a door. Not a door. I will give it a C. Is this a building? Exploring this. Door. No door. Well, because of my taste explicitly, this gets a D. Highways. Now, this is one that's kind of general. Any modern or semi-modern, uh, even Cyberpunk can use just a normal highway, and you just add things to make it more cyberpunky. Just roads, like standard roads. Any modern town, near modern town, 70s, even 60s, roads probably look something like this. A whole bunch of different ramps. Now, in my video games, I'm probably using mostly splines, so I'd probably just make my own roads. Procedurally, not necessarily just throwing these all in there in the shape that they are. I'd probably just take some of the more simplistic forms and draw splines, uh, which, you know, shape themselves. Um, so I can, like, bend it up like this, that kind of thing. Tell it to, like, build structures. But if I'm just mapping it out, I can just grab these assets. That's great. They're kind of holding together. They look good. They look good. Nothing phenomenal though, so I would give this an S tier. KitBash3D. I like that self promo. I might even keep that in if my game comes to fruition. And there's these different versions where you can like see it with Sidewalk. Definitely going to use A tier minimum. Do I have an excuse to give this S tier? Well, I always use this. I might use other things. So just out of might using something different, I'm going to put this as an A tier. Oops, that's not what I was looking for. Um, where are they? Highways, A tier. High-tech highways. Loading high-tech streets. Now this is more of a futuristic thing. These also could be cyberpunk, but they could also just be like straight up future. Future roads. Utopian or dystopian. Or space roads even. Space roads. Actually, this might be, work towards more like the Disneyland World of Tomorrow Epcot kind of deal. So here's a train, future train. You don't have to use the future train. You can take and take and use pieces. So this could just be a utopia rather than dystopian future. But bits and pieces here could be also used for cyberpunk or whatever else you'd like. Some of the pieces are kind of weird, kind of janky. I probably wouldn't use them. But I think this is a pretty solid B tier because if you would use them, you would use these pieces, not all of them. B tier or C tier? They are a little weird. It is weird that they're all white. That texture is kind of bad. And what is that even? A grass wedge? Some of the pieces are weird. Oh, I like that. It says warning. So that's a positive. That's kind of cool. But you know what? I'm not using. Yep, because I'm not using it. High-tech streets are C tier. I like it though. If I was making a game like that, I'd use those for sure. But I'm not. Hong Kong. So we're here in another city. Take a sip of tea here. Hopefully you didn't hear my gulp. Hong Kong, a very distinctive city. I know one of these cities was. I like most of them. There's one that I thought I was little not as good as the others. It might be Hong Kong. Not that a city's bad. It's that their varying consistency of art style. You can tell that these all were not made by the same artist. It's probably teams of artists as well. Um, Even the least skilled of them is far above my skill, though. So I very much appreciate that the fact that they make these, and we're all learning and improving. And these kits aren't static; they can improve them. KitBash3D, that is the artists. They'll add two more kits. If there's issues with the downloads, they'll help out there. This load is taking a while, so I might restart either right now or after this loads. Let's see here. Opening editor. Oh, my mouse is very slow. And it should be opening now. The suspense is killing me. It says that it's loading, that the map's already open, but I see the last map. Oh, there we go. I'm way up in the sky, aren't I? Yeah, it's definitely going to require a restart after this. Preparing static meshes for Hong Kong. Skylight waiting on mesh. For final capture. I'll probably start restarting after every 6 maps. I think what's happening is that there's so much loading in, um, and I think it's caching prior maps that I open that I need to restart every once in a while because these are quality assets, and I downloaded these, um, 1K 1K PNGs, trying to keep them consistent. There might have been a couple that I had to download otherwise. The downloads were consistent. I wasn't able to download everything in every pack. But I try to get most of everything in every pack so you get a good idea of each one of these. And there's variables amounts per pack. Not every pack has the same amount. So I'm trying to keep that consistent. This is a very colorful city. Most of the other cities have been monochromatic. But I'm not sure that's a positive here because the textures are, well, that's good. I like the tile. That's a little, well, so when you get closer, it doesn't look so bad. Just far away, the pink looks like it's painted pink, but it's not. It's like a pink stone. Blue tile. It's kind of weird. I feel like it looks worse far away, but close up it looks fine. Does Hong Kong really like that? Anybody here from Hong Kong? I'm not so sure. I like the details in the streets. Things are very colorful. Lots of buildings. Would I use these buildings? I think I might. 4K, what's it say? The vivid difference? Okay. Not the best buildings in the world, but very serviceable. I could see throwing these into like any city. Like here and there. Um, Nothing here is fully grabbing me though. Do we have doors? Because that's been a standard. We do. We do have doors. Clear doors, nothing's inside. Got some courts here. Tennis courts, maybe? What else we got? It's a cool building. Is this a real building? Anybody know? Okay. Yeah, things are slowing down a bit here. Hong Kong Music Festival. That's kind of cool touch. All right. I don't think I like this as much as some of the others, but it is nice, and there's a lot of detail in here. I think it comes down to personal taste, not necessarily the actual quality here, though. I don't know. There's something off about the textures as well. I don't know what it is. Normally I would be able to say it, but there's something. No. It's like inconsistency, I think. Like this has a lot of like dirty details and like some of them. Oh, this does too. But they're like streaks down. Yeah, I can't put my finger on it. There's something I don't like about these meshes. And I'm not sure how to use these buildings compared to the other ones. Some of them maybe. I definitely use them for like way far distance background buildings. That'd be pretty cool. Like they look really good far, far away. Especially the skyscrapers. Those are kind of cool. They're very blue because they're reflecting the sky. It's interesting. All right, I'm spending too much time on this one. Hong Kong is a B. Now I've opened the industrial pack. This one's kind of useful because it comes with these train tracks. And train tracks can be, oh, there's like a platform you can walk up. It's kind of neat. Those are somewhat semi-universal things. Railing for the side of a building. This is supposed to be like industrial age, you know, like building big factories. Whoop, went too fast there. Is that a door? It's like a space for a door. This is going to be one of those things that's low quality assets and sorry, not low quality assets, high quality assets, but low quality materials put on them. Let's see if these doors are real. I might actually use these for certain games that I'm designing. Door's not real. Okay. Let's see. Lots of factories. Factory, factory, factory. Well, that's kind of cool. Don't go into anything though, but you can cut out holes there. Full stores, silos, different shaped factory buildings. What's going on here? It's just the front of a building? This whole side's gone. I'm not even sure I'm going to use these train tracks. I think there's other packs with better train tracks, even for an industrial area. I wanted to rate this higher because I think I'll be using something similar. But I think industrial's actually D tier. That is honestly surprising me. Now, let's see Los Angeles. Los Angeles is a great city. Very expensive to live in. Very famous. Hollywood is there. I don't think they have like a Hollywood sign. That'd be fun if they did stuff like that. There's a lot of assets here. Okay, lots to go through. Okay, helicopter pad on top of this building. It's kind of a weird shaped building. That's got to be a real place though, right? Does it say what it is? It just says building. Yeah, shout stuff out in the comments if you know what any of these buildings are, especially the real ones or even the fantasy ones if they're reminiscent of something. It's kind of a cool building. Can you walk inside? See if this has a door. Is this a door? Nope. Oh, it's one solid piece. No doors. I do not like that. Build your world. This must be an earlier kit. Um, okay. There's benches. This is nice. I mean, it's kind of like a low poly trees and stuff, but at least it's trees. They're hard to get sometimes. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of variety to this that's given it some points, and there's some like world building here. LA lifestyle, big dream, build well. And the meshes are pretty big, and there's a lot of detail here. Maybe if you want it stylized, this is like stylized LA. It would take a lot of work to make this realistic, in my opinion. I bet you someone's done it before, though. Is this a real place right here? This seems like a ridiculous courtyard. If this is real, I'd like to know where this is in LA. Oh, wow. Okay, it's kind of eaten up by the ground here. Let me lift it up. So you could walk up steps here, walk through this corridor. There's benches left and right, and you're still surrounded. And then you can walk like up here, and then up here, and there's still another platform, but there's still one even higher. So how do you get there? So you were down here, walk up here maybe? Here, up here. But you're still surrounded by a wall. How do you? So there's stairs on this side to get up there. So people just look down on you in this courtyard. What kind of building is that? Nice design. You could throw the stadium into like any city. People probably recognize it as the LA one though. It's exact. It's just like a... There's probably a museum in here somewhere. I feel like these are less, I mean, there's a lot of detail to them, but I feel like there's less smaller quality than in some of the prior kits we're looking at. There's just a lot to look at here. That's why I'm spending so much time. In the distance, it looks great. So I'm gonna rate this a solid B. I think there's a lot of work that can be done there. But there's just so much value from just the number of meshes. Lunar base. Okay, here's a pivot. So let's go to space. So this isn't quite a city. This one might pair well with the free Mission to Minerva stuff. It's very similar. Like, Mission to Minerva could be like Lunar Base Part 2. Now, Mission to Minerva is supposed to be like more futuristic, but it's still along the same lines as this. This looks like an earlier... I think you can tell when a kit came out by the use of this weird green material to represent vegetation. I think the earlier ones used that, and the later ones just have their own meshes. There's these lunar modules. I don't think you're supposed to go inside any of these. Yeah, none of them have anything. So I wouldn't use it all. I wouldn't use this at all. I like the way that solar panel looks. That's cool to have, like, this is a space gym, which you would need. I mean, if you're on the moon, you got to work out all the time because gravity's so low. It's like sitting in a chair your whole life. Except at least on Earth, when you sit in a chair, you get full gravity. Living on the moon's gonna wreck people if people ever do that. You're gonna need a lot of supplements. Living on Mars is gonna be bad enough. We probably could do some genetic modification and just heavy supplements to keep people alive on Mars, but living on the moon would destroy you. You'd lose all bone density. You know what? I'd never use this. The assets aren't terrible though, so I might give this a C. Yeah, I'm gonna give this a C. I like the quality of the assets, but I'd never use it. Um, Manhattan. Manhattan. Back to New York. We had Brooklyn before, now we have another borough. This is more of what people might imagine New York being, like the skyscraper type of New York, if you've never been there and you don't know. Brooklyn's more red brick. uh Glass and steel, that's what you get in Manhattan. Some stone. Now this has this reminds me of the cyberpunk one, but I mean we're practically halfway to a cyberpunk dystopia in the real world, so that's what you get. I mean, that's borrowed from New York, right? They put all the billboards with big flashy lights on it. The Big Cat, Clash. Oh, it's a movie. Oh, no, it's a musical. Clash the musical now playing at Grimm's Theater. So bet you there's a Grimm's Theater here. Eden's Garden, Valley VR. What's this? It's nice. It does that thing where it's hollow, but this is quality. There's some food cup, like that, very European. Macbeth. Oh, Macbeth. It's weird that it's bent like that, but I mean you could put whatever you want on it, so that's fine. Very hollow building. I don't like it when it's purely glass, because then you could see right through it, and you have to like do a lot of work to make it actually something. Oh, that's cool. It's an ad for their Outpost kit. That's smart to do. Put ads for your other kits in your kits. Super Drip Clash. You see, that's a lot of fun. I don't like how glassy these buildings are, but I like the shape. Because you can see right through them. Even if you're far away, you can see through them. But you can make them more opaque, less translucent. But that's work again. There are a lot of nice shapes here, though. You know what? Despite how much I like this, I don't think I can give it any higher than a C. And I don't think I can draw it down to a D just because there's so much flavor thrown in. Flash. And I think that's is that Utopia? It's like their Utopia pack. It doesn't say it on it, but I think that's we'll see those meshes later. Yeah, this is interesting. It's kind of cool from afar, especially when they have a lot of reflection of the light of the sky. Um, but too many of them just look like hollow, brittle shells. Some like this look less so because the stone. Yeah, it could have used a little bit of more work, I think. And if this is intended to be 100% the final product, it's going to take a lot of work for the whoever's using it, the artist or the developer or designer. So yeah, this is going to be a reluctant C. I would like that to be higher, but it would just require a lot of work. Take another sip of tea. So this is the medieval market. Much smaller assets, not gigantic skyscrapers. Look how amazingly high quality these are, though. Like, I'm not making a medieval game, but if I did, these would be in it. It could be a modern game with a Ren Fair. And this doesn't have to be European. I mean, just like a table with a pot. I can make this, this could be the scene with some pirates, or um, even in the Far East, people use pots, right? Um, this is kind of, is this, ooh, is this levitating? I don't know. Nice table. Yeah, like just generic tables could be anywhere. Could be in the future, the past. This could be at my home. I mean, the stools look kind of archaic, but you know, um, but as intended as a medieval market, stretching leather. Oh, look at the quality of that leather. It didn't look so high quality from afar, but really close, you could see like the little wrinkles in it, and they're trying to stretch it, tan it thin. All right, some of the textures are better looking than they originally appear. Set up. Okay. You know, stylized, or even if I modify it a bit to look like fully realistic, and it does look semi-real already. Semi. Um, but yeah, it could be modified to look fairly realistic. The right lighting and materials are pretty good. Does it? Yeah, it's invisible in the center. But that's easily adjustable. Um, I kind of want to rank this as tier. Are there enough assets in this pack to call it as tier, though? I'm not sure I can. Yep, I want this is near S tier. I might change my mind on this one, but Medieval Market is going to be near S tier. So I'll put it like here. Yeah. I want to be S tier, but I just don't feel like there's enough. Maybe there are. Let me reconsider here. How many do we see here? All right. It's at least a couple dozen. Take a closer look at this one. This will be my... You know what? Each one of these is an individual mesh that you can put anywhere. With so many details, I am changing my mind. This is, in fact, S tier. Get the set if you're making a medieval scene. Military outpost. Let's go back to modern times. This might be more recognizable to me, having been at military outposts during wartime. Shout out to the veterans out there. Let me know what you think about these military outposts. Or anyone who's just like lived in a war-torn country and seen Western. Oh, I guess it's not even necessarily Western anymore. It's just this is how people do war now. They make tents and shit, put up fences, checkpoints. Oh, having flashbacks. Not like not like PTSD flashbacks, just like remembering my time in Iraq with like sandbags and well, let's see if they have them. There's like those bigger sandbag like structures. I think they do have them here. Yeah, these things. I forget what they call these. Oh, the towers. Yeah, it's pretty accurate. Pretty accurate. If you're making a war scene, this is pretty S tier. So they should double side more of the... But maybe that's just an import to Unreal thing. Maybe that's my problem being an Unreal person. Well, I am a real person, but I'm also an Unreal person. Let me show you my shirt. Unreal Engine. All right. Um, it's kind of cool. You can actually... I wonder if that door works. Let's see if that door works. This is a potential be S tier if it's got doors. It still might be S tier even if this isn't a door because I don't think these are... Let's see if I can knock it down from S tier. Is that not having a door? I mean, these open up. Maybe there's one without a door. I mean, one with... so you can like... Here, if this has a door, I'll make it S tier. This side. Door. No door. So, I mean, yeah, it doesn't necessarily need a door for me to make it a door. I can literally etch out the door, cut it out, make that a mesh, make the door a mesh, and have it like swing on its hinge. Or we can even do it where, okay, last chance for the door. Otherwise, this is A tier. If there's a door there, it is S tier. Oh, no door. That's so sad. Yeah, you can use modeling tools to just cut out the door and make them separate meshes, but see, I like stuff that ends up being modular. And a lot of the stuff is. A lot of the stuff ends up so when you download it into Unreal, they get put into pre um blueprints, separate files with a cluster of different elements to it. But the individual meshes are also there, so you can also individually place them. But when the doors are part of the mesh, it does make it difficult because doors, the point of a door is for it to open and close. So how do you animate it if it's a single solid object with a wall? You got to cut it out. That's extra work. Purpose of buying these is for less work. So yeah, I cannot, under good conscience, put this in. Wait. Oh, there is military outpost. Oh, I skipped over medieval siege. I'll get to that next. So I can't, on good conscience, put this in S tier. It is in A tier. I skipped over medieval siege somehow, so let's go to that. Similar concept, except for medieval battle environment. I do love medieval games. I play like every Dungeons and Dragons game in existence, video game and tabletop wise. I love The Witcher. What else is medieval themed? Played World of Warcraft for many years. Um, there's a lot of games I haven't played that are medieval too, of course. There's just so many. I would love to make my own medieval fantasy game. But right now I'm concentrated on a modern environment, which would be more like the cities. Not a wartime environment though. Although I think that could be interesting to have a game that's modern and just have like a section of the game in a wartime environment and it be not about combat, just about survival. Not like a survival game, just a drama about the survival. I think that would be pretty interesting. I don't see that too often. I'm sure there's some out there, but hmm. Did my screen freeze? That was a little odd. Video memory over budget. Okay, this will be the last one. I'll restart after this. All right. So this is a oh, interesting. Sort of like a double cart. This is one mesh, right? Yeah. It's kind of weird. It's like a double cart with a big, like, huge crossbow, ballistia, or whatever they call that. On swords. Oh, these are all individual meshes, too. So you can get a bunch of swords or a bucket full of swords. There's like a cage wagon. Here's the, for those medieval nerds out here, here's your classic trebuchet with a big counterweight. Nice, nice. You can see that the ropes attach over here. And there's your sling. I think that's the proper term. You load a rock into there. Let's see if there's a... Yep, some little rocks there to use as ammo for this. I'm not sure if ammo is the right term, but... Yep, I'm slowing down, so it's going to require a restart. They put shields up here with arrows in it for the pots. Maybe these are like oil. Maybe they're going to like throw fires at them or something. Uh, okay. No, this is quality. This is quality. Um, it's ram. Another tribute. That's trebuchet, right? No, it's catapult. Catapult, and they got these big shield guard things, arrows in them. Yeah, this would make a great medieval fight scene. Either parts of castles or just areas that were destroyed or active war scene. This could be a camp. This looks like a very nice camp. This is a little reminiscent of Witcher a little bit, with a little camp that you can sneak into. This little war camp, and these don't have to be all together in one giant battle. It could just be different regions of a larger landscape. And this is like cross into it like a drawbridge. You can like build a castle around this. It could be destroyed or whole. Here's the castle. So that maybe that drawbridge leads to this. Maybe like it's like one ridge here, and then the next ridge is this castle. You can get into it. Oh, someone already busted it down with a battering ram. Nice. And imagine this is just the blueprint where you can reconfigure all that. Maybe even animate a whole scene of them busting down the battering ram. Although I doubt the battering ram swings. Let me see if I could find an individual battering ram here. There it is. Let's see if the ram part. No, it's one solid. piece, so it'd just be for looks. You have to make your own. Oh, it's broken. Is there a non-broken battering ram? Or is this all supposed to be broken stuff? It's probably more interesting anyway for most contexts that it's not functional. Unless it is the point of the game, your little war game where you want trebuchets and such. Or a movie. Yeah, it's all one solid piece. If you want to animate it, you're going to have to chop it up or get a different asset and just use all this as set dressing, which is fine. You can use other things. You can make your own trebuchet. I could do a little art myself. I probably could come up with the pieces if I really wanted to and make my own war stuff and just use the stuff for background set dressing. It does look good. I think I might give this an S. If this is what you need, this is exactly what you need. And it's fast. You just drop it into your thing, your project, or whatever else it is. Background to a movie. Just so much detail, and it's exactly what it says it is. It's a siege in a medieval environment. And there's so much detail, such high quality. I would be remiss if I gave this anything but an S tier. Yeah, that's an S tier asset. Welcome to Neo Dubai. Now, Dubai is a city that's known for being in a desert and being filthy, filthy rich, having a pretty big disparity between the poorest and the richest. For a lot of the Dubai citizens have a lot of money, and they kind of ship in people to work there. And there's a lot of like human rights questions about that and stuff, but there's so much money there that it is brilliantly beautiful. Now, what can you use this for? I think some of these buildings are close enough to actual Dubai because it is kind of a dystopia on its own. A very, very rich dystopia that the fact that this is Neo in the future and it's like, I don't know if you want to say just like strictly futuristic or cyberpunk. Um, yeah, some of these buildings could be modern Dubai buildings, but you can also use them in any um like futuristic setting with some like Middle Eastern flair or like an Arabic city like this one. Like I don't even see anything futuristic going on in this one. Just very clean and nice buildings. Let's do the door test. So this is a cluster of buildings, which is nice. You just throw this in and you have your own little neighborhood already there. Are these doors? They are not. Is this a door? No. Maybe it's because this is just a cluster. What if I find a smaller building? This is an interesting building. I was gonna say this is a shoe-in for an S tier, but if it doesn't have doors, what are we talking about? Interesting. I mean, these are beautiful. I love the road, the bridges, the streets. Dubai. Okay, this building. This will be my door test building. Okay. Now that's clearly a door. But it's selecting everything. It's not selecting an individual door. Yeah, I don't think there's doors. Oh no. Oh no. My door test is being failed. I know it seems arbitrary, but I mean, that's a function I need. I have to cut out every single one of those doors if I want to use any of them. Well, other way around. If, every one I want to use, I'd have to cut out. Um, I mean, in a video game, you could also do that thing where you just like go up to a door, hit the button, then you just appear inside. But you know, I like the door swinging open. I like it to be semi-real. Okay, looking at this grass, I see what's going on. This is supposed to be. You can't tell because the buildings are so glorious, but I think this is supposed to be stylized. Of course, empty in the middle like most buildings. I don't expect for a minute for any building to have be like full of like rooms and stuff going on the inside. I understand what these are. These are glorious though. Very beautiful. Um, Niche usability, however beautiful, but no doors. I think this is going to be a B tier. New to buy. Oh, Mission to Minerva. This one I'm not going to bring up a map of. You can look at this yourself. The whole package is free. You can download it for anything right now. And you can download it as a whole package. You don't even need cargo for it. At least you didn't before. I don't know if they changed that. It's nice. Um, Very low usability though for me. And I think one of the reasons they give it away for free is because I don't think a lot of people are once like maybe now that Starfield came out, maybe if you're gonna try to make a Starfield clone with a NASA punk, as they call it, NASA punk look, there might be some use for it. But I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna put that as a C tier. The freebie. There's nothing wrong with it though. Um, I could put it down to D tier, but I think it's the assets are quality enough. C tier. Um, let's do the next Neo City, New York City. I think some of these Neo cities, they could be put in a futuristic setting. They could supplement a cyberpunk setting, and some of them could be with a little modification. Sometime without any modification, could be modern. Now New York City, it's going to be mostly Manhattan, I think, if I recall right. We'll see in a second. Oh, excuse me. Um, but and we already had a Manhattan, so you can compare those. Maybe your vision of Manhattan matches more this one, but I think this is going to require a little bit of work if you're going to make it a Neo. If you want to make this a mod, yeah, exactly. They put a lot of like neon and weird. Yeah, and this doesn't actually have to be New York City. You can just make this any future city. You can make this Metropolis, Futuropolis, your your own Oasis city. There is one called Oasis coming up too. I mean, you can mix and match with these. It's doing that thing with the there's nothing in the middle, which wouldn't bother me. I mean, and I keep on repeating this, you could just make them a bit more opaque. But I do appreciate this more. Some of the buildings like that we saw in the industrial building, there was like wall against wall against wall. And here, sure, there's like a wall in the middle, but it's in a place that makes sense. So you can like build walls. And this is huge. These buildings are big. I like them a lot. I actually might take this building. And you know, like lights like this doesn't have to be futuristic. You could just say that it's, well, that's futuristic. This giant projected thing. I think this one has drone bots. I don't know if it's this pack, but some of the packs had drone bots projecting these onto the space. And this being invisible from the back isn't necessarily a bad thing, because that could be the explanation of the technology or something that it's only seen from one side. It is a future tech after all. What about this quality? I wonder if this is an older pack. And I wonder if my theory is correct that this grass texture is something they put on all over their older packs. This looks pretty advanced for one of their old packs, though. Could be, though. I mean, these trees are kind of odd. Weird textures, Tom. But this is beautiful, right? Future City. Future New York. Actually, I don't think I recognize any of these buildings. Do you recognize any of these buildings? Why do they call this New York other than the fact that this says the New York Tribune on it? Is there a New York Tribune building that looks a lot like this, just less that's futurized? Maybe it looks like that now. What about this? Yeah, it could be an artsy district. Doesn't, I mean, I've seen glass panels like that in Seattle. Seattle, obviously the future. And this is nice. It could just be an art building, a more rich art building. That's just glass. Glass isn't futuristic. It's just fancy. Pinewood Village. It's just clearly not a poor neighborhood. Um, Same with the school. Although it'd be weird to have like every building having that. Unless there was some in-story explanation, maybe some rich philanthropist was making all building all artsy buildings for people. For oops, I didn't mean to delete that. I hit the wrong button. Undo delete. I wanted to hit end. Make you go to the ground. That's a hotkey in Unreal Engine if you're using it. That might be useful for you if you don't. Oh, spinny doors, rotating doors. Let's do a door test on rotating doors. I didn't expect to be able to do this. My guess is it's going to not be separate. If it is, no, it's not. I was gonna say if it is, I'm gonna rank it up higher. Um, this is cool. If you're making a futuristic city, this is what you need. I don't really see. I mean, there's some vague New York influences, but I don't. I would not say this has strong New York influences. Even if they're modeled after New York buildings. I mean, I just don't feel like if I was in this city, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm in future New York. I'd just be like, I'm in a future city. I mean, other than just occasionally writing New York on stuff, I wouldn't recognize this as New York. However, they are gorgeous. This is going to be. This grass could use some help. I wanted to do B tier, but I'll do B tier. There's enough detail here. That's weird. The water. Oh, that is weird. Yeah, if I see this as a stylized environment, which I think some of the Neo buildings are supposed to be, that's B tier. Let's do Neo San Francisco. I think Neo San Francisco might be my favorite of the Neo series. There's a lot of Neo towns. I think there may be more Neo cities than there are modern cities. I don't know if that's accurate, but I'm going to be doing Neo cities for a little while here. I see at least 3 more coming. So, not that I'm complaining. Remember, this all came with the Cargo Pro membership. All right, first of all, look at that. Golden Gate Bridge. So it pretty much looks like the normal Golden Gate Bridge. They just added some of these like cool like sci-fi um billboard banners that like float in the middle of the air. Those probably could be cut out, and then it's basically the Golden Gate Bridge. So I could put this in a modern setting. They don't have a modern San Francisco, which is kind of disappointing. I like San Francisco. I could use a lot of cities. I love New Orleans. I love Seattle. Um, Lots of cities. If you do photogrammetry, I know some nice photogrammetrists, and you're free to KitBash3D. Hit me up. I know some people that would love to make packs for you. Where next? This is actually phenomenal. Yeah, this is why I was saying Neo, because it's so in depth. Like we were just looking at the Neo New York. This is very reminiscent of that, but like a more advanced version, like in almost every way, right? That detail. Look at that detail. So I have to rank this higher than New York. That's mandatory. What did I rank New York? New York was a B. So this is an A or an S. Can I justify this being an S tier? I don't like the textures on... You can just change the texture on the grass, though. What about the buildings? This is the door test. If it passes the door test, it's an S. If it fails the door test, it is an A. Does it even have doors? That's a door, I think. But I doubt that'll open. So let's try these doors. Door test. Now, a lot of people won't care about doors. But I like moving parts. Nothing's a door. Let's try a smaller building. I got smaller buildings here. I mean, the buildings that are here are gorgeous, though. Smaller building, but it's like the same kind of non-door. What is this? That's really cool. Yeah, they got these non-doors. I'd have to cut out doors if I wanted these to be doors. But I'm not going to use this anyway. Hotel Cali. Hotel California. What a lovely place. Such a lovely face. Garages. Tell you this, even if the doors don't open, if the garage is open, I'll give this S tier. And they do not. I didn't expect them to. These are individual pieces though. That's kind of cool. Oh wait. Cali, valet parking, Cali, exit only. Well, you can check out anytime you want, but you can never leave. See, that's a mistake. No S tier. Because you can actually check out of the Hotel California. This is an A tier, not an S tier. Sorry, whoever made that. Neo Shanghai. This should be fun. Shanghai's an interesting city. So far, San Francisco is my favorite of the Neo. I think there is a contender here. It might be Neo Tokyo 2. They made two new Neo Tokyos. Can you believe that? I don't think they've done... Well, I guess New York has multiple ones, but that's because there's multiple boroughs, and then they made a Neo and a normal one. There's no Tokyo... Is there? I don't think there's a Tokyo Modern, but there's two Neo Tokyos, which is odd. That goes into like the hand in hand of um the Orientalism of cyberpunk. uh which isn't the artist's fault. It's just, that's the demand. All right, so there's definitely a color scheme here. You have like this bluish black, this white, and this red. Got some like this gray, which kind of like blends into that bluish black. And that's it. That's all the colors. uh, but they look clean. These look nice. For such a tight color scheme, at least you're not seeing that bad grass texture everywhere. And these are kind of interesting lights. Mm-hmm. Nice. Some of these buildings might be usable for modern buildings as well. They don't look too futuristic. There's not like drones flying over them or weird neon lights. It's neon. So this is Neo Shanghai. I don't know what Shanghai looks like now, but I can see using these buildings in a modern or near modern, like say it's 2030 near modern. I don't think you can use many of these buildings to be that old, though. I don't know. Maybe this building can pass for something that someone put together in the 80s. That's supposed to be like a future building, but was actually built in the 80s, but it was like intentionally look like a future building, that kind of thing. You can always swap out textures. Oh, this is interesting. That's very interesting. You know what? I was about to say B for this, but I think I like this. Think. All right, this is an A or a B? Let's do the classic door test. Let's find a door that's likely to open. Are there doors? If there's no doors, this is automatically a B. It's not a door. Door? Door? Okay, this counts as a door. I think I'm gonna have to make this B anyway, even if this passes, because there weren't doors in those other buildings. Door. Nope, no door. Failing my door test, you are relocated to. Let me open Neo Tokyo while I do this. Sorry, Neo Shanghai, you are a B, which is actually pretty high ranking still. So I don't know why I'm saying sorry. Okay, this is Neo Tokyo. Soaring through the air. So this is interesting. Oh, I like these trees. These tree assets, I don't think were anything with anything else. Much better than that weird grass that was in the other ones. And this is Neo Tokyo 1. There's a Neo Tokyo 2. Well, it's not called Neo Tokyo 1, it's just called Neo Tokyo. I'm not sure they knew they were going to build a second one at the time they were making this. If I recall right, Neo Tokyo 2 is actually better and more advanced than this one. That's what happens when you can, improve upon your work. You can always get better. Even if it's a different group putting it together, a different group of artists, that is. But I don't know. Are these made by a single artist for like each pack, or do you think, if anybody knows if there's like groups of artists that put these together? Because I can believe a single artist put this all together, but I imagine it'd be more efficient to have a team doing these. I mean, these are just like basic shapes, and then you can just like make a texture. Not to, you know, belittle the skill. This takes a lot of time and skill and knowledge to make. Um, but I mean, anything in a 3D environment, it's just, it's dimensions, it's transform, it's a mesh, like there's an angle, rotation, a location, and then there's like color to it. Just why when you're in the middle, it's a one-sided texture. There's nothing there. I mean, most of these are basic shapes repeated. I mean, that's reductive, but that's what real life is, right? A house is like a triangle on top of a square. These are cool. But as you can see here, it's like sharp edges, like this isn't the exact shape of a fan. It's just a believable fan from like this angle. It's recognizable to our eyes. Which a skill artist can do that. And it saves you on poly count when it's actually not fully a realistic one. And you might not want a realistic one. You might the whole art might be stylized. Um yeah, a lot of this is kind of samey. This is gonna be a B. It's pretty solid, but could be better. New Tokyo 2. If I recall, I like this one better, so this might be an A. So I had a lot of little side assets little antennas and stuff that I decided to pull out so you can get a better look. Like a future dumpster. Top satellite dishes that could be up here. Okay, that's an interesting texture. Billboard, KitBash3D, I love it, love it, love it, love it. I like stuff like that. This one might come down to a door test as well. All right, so this is going to be an A or a B. S tier is locked out if there's no doors. Pretty grass. Oh, that's cute. Oh man. Red pandas? Red pandas are cute. They're so adorable. I love the way they fight. They just stand up and go, threatening. I'm so scary. If you don't know what a red panda is, Google it, watch a YouTube video. They're adorable. Adorable little. Uh, do not, if you see one, do not pet them. They do not like to be touched, but they are so cute. You just want to pet them. Um, Sophisticated. Kind of low res. I mean, I did download this to be low res, so that's fine if you're like on the ground. Yeah, those look great from that direction. Um, I like it. I think this is better than Neo Tokyo. Neo Tokyo 2 is better than Neo Tokyo, so that, but don't think it has earned an A slot. It has earned, we stretch it. We are now maxed out the row for B, which I could keep on adding them. And if you're doing this yourself, you could put them all in a single tier if you want. So let's see. Loading Oasis. If you know Ready Player One, the book or the movie, Oasis is what they called the virtual world, I believe. So this is supposed to be like a futuristic perfect world, I guess. Like maybe you're setting a cyberpunk, but when you upload your VR headset and you go into the virtual world, you see this utopia. This impossible utopia. That's slowly loading in. Oh yeah, this is one with gigantic assets. Um, Obscenely large assets. I might actually dock at a point for that. There's no reason these can have to be this large. We could just scale them up if we want to. Why do these assets look? This is like a full open world setting, right? Why are the individual assets like a quarter of the map? So I'm like walking up here. I guess, it's got to scale if you're gonna include things like steps and stuff. It's supposed to be this ridiculous grand thing. If this is Oasis, then it's supposed to be impractical anyway. Let's just do the door test. Right off the bat. I see doors here. Can I open a door? Yes! Finally passing the door test. I told you it wasn't impossible. I mean, early on we showed some doors. So this, even though I kind of badmouthed it a second ago, this could be an S tier. I mean, it's supposed to be impractical though, right? So these are kind of gorgeous. Can I eliminate it for being an S tier? The interiors are kind of weird. But even if you're like walking up from like this angle, you're not seeing that interior. It's too much light. If you go in here, I guess I could make some modifications. I could put an elevator in this. You know, I have to give them some leeway. So S doesn't mean perfect. It just means like this is a really good asset. But man, they're crashing. These assets are huge. Look at that video memory issue. All right, I don't think I can give it an S tier just for that. I think this is a solid A tier though. Look at these crazy impractical buildings with these crazy virtual trees. You don't need real trees, you got virtual trees. They added this grass thing again. Okay, I think I downgraded this to an A tier. There's weird... Where did I put Gaia? I don't think I could put this anywhere higher than Gaia. That's a B. Okay. I think because the interiors don't quite work. I very much wanted to put it A tier, but it's gonna be B tier. It could be high B tier. I'll put it next to Gaia. There we go. Actually, I like it. Do I like it better? I don't think I do. Right there. Ranking a lot B today. Outlaw. Outlaw's interesting. It's Old West. Um, Which honestly, you can put some Old West buildings in like a modern, like frontier town. Um, Actually, it's funny that I said frontier town. There was an old theme park in upstate New York called Frontier Town. This reminds me of it. I used to go to it as a kid. It is long shut down and it's overgrown. It's one of those places that like urban explorers go now. It looks so haunted. And it's weird seeing like old videos because it's like from the 80s when I went there. So like now the videos of like going there looks like ancient times. It looks like ghosts, you know, and it's completely overgrown. So, but it's like buildings like this, like old west buildings, somewhere I've been and have childhood memories of. It's so surreal. But you can, you know, old west game, old west movie, mining cart. Actually, you know what? These are really cool. My only criticism is they're tiny, but I guess that's kind of like the old west theme, is they were just setting stuff up, so you got to build a tight little house because you can't build a mansion. Are there any giant buildings? This might be one of the bigger buildings, the boathouse. I mean, this boathouse could be used in any time period. Um, like Old West on. This could be a boathouse now. I mean, not everyone makes a big fancy boathouse. Some just nail some boards together. That's an old timey barber. This train is super cool. I love trains like this. I might make this S tier just for the cool train. If this passes the door test, this is an S tier asset. Nice, nice kit. Are there enough pieces? Yeah, there are. I don't know. That's actually not a lot of pieces. And you know what? I'm gonna have to dock at a point because when I tried to download the blacksmith, oh wait, no, the blacksmith worked. That was the pirate set where the blacksmith didn't work. Okay, I'm not docking that point. I should have docked it from the out from the. But they might have fixed that by now. Fur and leather working. That's gorgeous. Okay, if you pass the door test, you are S tier there, buddy. Door test passed. Oh my gosh. We got another S tier. Despite it being a smaller pack, if you need an Old West town, you got it. Outlaw. S tier. Yeah. I like seeing more S tiers. See if we can avoid doing any more D tiers, but I don't know about that. Outpost. Outpost. So I don't know how to describe Outpost. It might be post-apocalyptic. It might be like cyberpunk. I don't know if you ever watched Blade Runner, but there's that scene where he goes out to the desert to track people down. Any of those dystopia futures with, you know, trackers, you know, they always go out to the desert. You could run into stuff like this. It also could be alien worlds. It could be maybe these types of buildings you'd see on Mars, you know, like a Mars colony. Um, or maybe some sort of like industrial fantasy, you know, with big like desert ships, and these are the outposts. Or this could even be like the Star Wars ish kind of feel to it, you know? Or even some of these buildings are kind of Mad Max. Um, Honestly, I don't know. I don't think I'd ever use any of these assets, but you never know. That's kind of interesting. Could just be a bunker. Doesn't even have to be with a weird fantasy. I mean, this literally is a bunker, right? It's weird to have all these pipes, but you know, pipes can do stuff. Weird shields. Not my cup of tea, but they are very well done. Kind of cool. Kind of cool. The gun. Interesting. Very like Tatooine, Star Wars, maybe. There's multiple uses. But every single use that I could think of is very niche. Multiple niches. Multi-niched. All right. Uh, they don't look bad. So B or C. Door test is the tiebreaker. Does this door open to be a B? Gosh, it doesn't. Is there another door to test? I'll see if there's another door. It's the same kind of door. It's got a bigger door. Just this one. Last chance. Last chance. Nope. This is a C grade. Outpost C. Roman Empire. I was super excited for Roman Empire. I wanted to make a game. I actually moved on from the game idea. It's tabled for now. I'm now doing a modern setting, but I was going to do something that would require not Roman but Carthaginian setting. And that's coexisted with Romans. In fact, Carthage fell to Roman invasion. So a lot of these buildings would be of similar make. Maybe some slight modifications. Maybe some Roman presence was there. I could do some research and actually put some of these buildings in there, but these are supposed to be Rome. This is interesting. I maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think Roman buildings were literally just pillars. I think there was more to them. I got to do some research on that. Again, I could be wrong. It's just weird. The pillar upon pillar thing. I'm sure there's something else going on in here. Architectural structure wise. Looks great from afar though. Oh, this is weird. That's yeah, they're one-sided but reversed the wrong way. So if you two-side them, this Coliseum's going to look normal, but it looks like it's got a bunch of extra windows because of the one-sided textures. Oh, it's not Coliseum, it's like an auditorium. Doesn't change the... Okay, so I was going to S tier this, but there seems to be a bunch of problems, which require a little extra work. Looks gorgeous. How's the textures? Textures are pretty good, serviceable. I could even get a higher resolution if I wanted, but oh, that stone texture's a little. I don't know. No, I take that back. It's good. What's going on with the floor here? Is it just? Yeah, it was just Z fighting is what they call that. This was at the exact same position as the actual ground. Um. Oh, here we go. What do they call this? This is where they like run the races. This is gorgeous. All right, I think I've eliminated this from S tier, but this is phenomenal set, so I'm gonna say that's kind of nice. Okay, so those are super low res, but if you're down here, they look like they could be real, like new and high res. It's actually better that they do that, so that you know you're never gonna have a shot from here, right? So it saves on file size and performance. Oh yeah. I believe they got one of these in Germany too, the arcs. See, this is a little weird. There's just like a wall. This is pillars guarding a wall. I might lower this to B. I was good at first. I was like, this is S tier for sure. Then I saw the mistakes. Um, it's phenomenal. No, I'm gonna keep it at A just because there's so much phenomenal pieces to this, and it's so rare to get a nice Roman set. This is an A tier. Roman Empire. A sci-fi industrial. Interesting. So this could be like part of a cyberpunk world. It could just be the industrial district of a maybe a more utopian sci-fi world. It could be on an alien planet. Um, could be another Star Wars planet. This be like Alderaan buildings or something. Interesting. Huh. I'm not that they're good looking, they're beautiful, but I'm not that inspired by them. Like I don't know, like if I was like, use this, make a game. I could come up with some ideas, but nothing I'd be too like hyper excited about. Not off the bat. Maybe I don't need some time to think about it. So this is like a yeah. There's a lot of constant colors in here, and everything has this texture. This is a B or C. Let's do that tiebreaker. Can we open the door? No. Maybe that's not a door. No door. No. This side doesn't even have a door. Okay. This, because of my lack of personal excitement, it's a C. I would make it a D if it wasn't kind of enthralling and pretty. But I like the aesthetic. But yeah, it's a C. Secret Lab. This one's interesting. There are very few like stuff on the inside of a building packs. I think this might be literally the only one. It was promised that Cargo Pro will have interiors. This is the closest thing to an interior. I have not seen any interiors. Vehicles were also promised, and there's like a boat and like a car in one of the packs. A couple of the packs have like boats with them, but I've not seen the vehicles in the numbers that they made it sound like they were going to be. I haven't seen any interiors at all, but these are props that would go into an interior of a secret lab, which is not quite the same as, I mean, sort of. It's an interior props. It's props for an interior, but like they've got the building outside and they got stuff that goes in the center, but not like the inside of the building. I'm not sure what they would do for that. Maybe they won't. There are other resources for stuff like that. And you got like quarantine zone, alien autopsy. Do these? I don't think these move. You'd have to break these apart to make the move. I think. Give them droids. That's something else. Is if you want something with like a skeletal mesh, I don't think KitBash does that. But this is all like scene set dressing. You know, just stuff to like flush out the world, flesh it out. Um, this is gorgeous. For what it is, I want to say S tier. But I think too many of these objects need motion, and I'm pretty sure they are quite static. I think there are doors on some of these though that do work. Um, well, I don't think this one does though. Maybe I can't give it an S tier. Yeah, I can't. You can't. This doesn't rotate, so you can go inside of it. And I don't mind doing that coding myself, but the fact that it's literally a single mesh, right? Yeah. Okay. I think at most I can get this an A tier. So is it an A or B? There are a lot of assets here. So I can't dock it for that. Not the most, but a lot. Oh, that's interesting. It's like doing surgery on you. But a lot of these things probably should have a skeletal mesh, but they don't, which would be extra work. And some would be just like too much work. Might as well get some different mesh when it comes to some of the things where you'd have to like attach. Well, someone skilled enough could do it. It should be a lot of work for me, is what I'm saying. Because I feel like they should be like, these are engines and stuff that should be rotating. And this is all about static meshes. And these lights should be blinking. Can I make the lights blink? Probably not. Oh, yes, you can. You can make the lights blink. Um, Let me show you. So in Unreal Engine, you can isolate the different elements here. The green lights, the red lights. You just tell them to blink in the blueprint. So it looks like, yeah, they all change at once. That's fine. It's good enough because I don't think you would use that for like a puzzle or part of the function of a whatever anyway. Making the lights blinkable is good. Good, 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 good. Um, some of the stuff fails the door test, but if it's just set dressing. All right, one more. A or B? Door test right here, right now. What is this? Can't even get this door. I'd have to break. Okay. Uh, does that matter though? I'll tell you what. If you could get in this employee only's door, although employees only means like don't want to be able to get into it, right? No. All right, B tier. B. Oh, this one is so fun. Shangri-La. Gorgeous. The mythical city. Is it mythical? It's not a real city, is it? Let me look that up real quick. Pretty sure it is. Hmm. Wow. Yeah, I actually am a very big fan of these buildings. Okay, it is a fictional city, the legendary Tibetan paradise of Shambhala. Oh, so James Hilton wrote a book and it's not it's not even the Tibetan word for it. Okay. Nice. Okay. So yeah, this is a fictional city that this is styled after, but it's a like Tibetan style, but just take it to fantasy. Which, nothing wrong with that. Nice big buildings though. It's gorgeous. Let's get this out of the way. Door test. Oh, these are so beautiful. Oh, no doors? Oh man. But it's nice and fantastic. Like if you maybe you have a mountain trek and like these are on the top of the mountain, this mythical city. I have to cut out some doors. I want to go in these buildings. Come on. Let me in. Let me in. Oh, let's look at this tree. Oh, that's a great tree. That's fun. Lots of cool places to walk up. Guess you don't have to go into the buildings. There's nothing in there anyway. Yeah, but I think I cannot S tier this just because of my door test standard. But they are beautiful. I love this for fantasy. Look how gorgeous this is. Come on. Shangri-La, the mythical city paradise. It's kind of cool. And you can cannibalize these parts for like a more realistic city, realistic place. Or even like a theme park. You're telling me this door doesn't open? Come on. Oh yeah, the doors don't open. Yep, I have to cut them out. Okay. Make them like bonsai trees, kind of. Yep. It's gorgeous though. These are gorgeous. Look at this building. So cute. All right. Eliminated from S tier, but Shangri-La. I'm more than happy to put it in A tier. Hello, took a little break there, but we're back looking at the Shogun kit. This is a Japanese medieval style with interiors, which is nice. Notice that the textures are double-sided here. That's great. Very high quality. Lots of assets. I put them all on a line here. Nice buildings. It's double decker right here. This is all the same building. That's kind of cool. All right. So this is what I'm looking for. When I want an asset, this is exactly like I'm not making a Japanese environment, but I think this is already S tier with by what I'm saying, and there's so many more to look at. What about the door test? Yep, they're individual doors, even though they're sliding doors. That's amazing. Okay, so I think I have nothing negative to say about this. It even has some like theme to it. Floors. The beams in the middle of the floor is a little weird, but I mean, you could make your own floor. That's fine. This is gorgeous. Nice textures. Large buildings. They feel realistic, like there could be people here, things happening. The textures are double-sided. The materials, gorgeous. It's thematic. It seems realistic, but easily fitted in a fantasy setting as well. Like, seriously, 10 out of 10, despite the fact that I'm not making a medieval Japanese scene or game at the moment. I could in the future, and now I have these assets, which is fantastic. I love this tower. I love the way that the lamps got a slight glow to them. Beautiful arrangement. I like that. Okay, so these are the names. Like this is the dojo. This is the farmer's house, and it looks like a farmer's house. I don't know. Is it farmers in Shogunate Japan put a sign saying this is my house on top? I'm wondering if that's what it says. I got no clue, but even if it's not, I mean, it just looks cool, and it's got an interior, and there's all these extra assets that come with it, and it's a farmer, so he's got the vines here. That's cool. What are those peppers? It's a nice asset to have, even if you're not doing a medieval Japanese scene. You can just have a vine with peppers. I love this. It's gate. Use it to be between districts or zones or something. Now that's not a double-sided texture there. The flags, but that's flags are like the easiest thing to fix that way. What's this building? General store. Okay. That's good for any game that you got. You come here and you do your shopping. And all these buildings are gorgeous. Like if you're doing just like some art, some environmental art, a scene or movie, these are perfect. Oh, look at this. Crab, the fish. This must be some sort of market. What's it? Yep, it's called literally market. Got the rising sun there. Now the fruits and vegetables aren't hyper realistic, but most people don't need that anyway. All those potatoes are pretty good. Those are kind of cool. I love it. It's a restaurant. So if it's a restaurant, it probably has seating. Look at that. Seating. There's an inside spot too for different style of seating. Plants, bamboo. I like it. Rice shop. So there's a lot of that's I guess that's what's in the barrels. Oh, there's the rice. It's the rice shop. Look how big and expansive these are. You know, I mean, let's say I made a video game and I said like the Ninja Hideout was, secretly in the rice shop. This could be the zone. It's kind of cool. Yeah, I've seen very little negatives. There's a couple one-sided textures, but other than that, and it's just a couple. We've seen much worse. We've seen it where we could like look into the building and see through the other side. Yeah, this is gorgeous. Archery school, bathhouse. Bathhouse. That's tiny for a bathhouse, isn't it? Oh, cool. Oh, it's just like the house to. Where's the bath? It's like this tub here. Is this supposed to be where you get in the bath? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how it's supposed to work. I'm a little confused by this, but it is very, very nice, despite me not knowing how this is a bathhouse. Hmm. Farmer house, small farmer house. It's like a shack. Interesting. Anything on the inside? Just some space. But there is an inside, which is good. Here's like a dock? Fish cellar on a dock. Yep, there's all his fish and crates. Ramen house. So it's another restaurant, basically. Samurai Guild. Nice. It's where you do some training or something. Hang out there. Another samurai house. So the samurai would live here. Very nice, quiet life. I wonder what the back building's for. This is cool. Shrine. Okay, so a little sacred area. Walk it here. Interesting. Got some lions. Slow it down a little bit. Okay, cool, cool. Stable. That's where your horses are, I guess. Yep, over here. It's the house of the stable master. Oh, and there's some stuff right here. What's this? Carts. So you can just put that for some scene settings. Bridge. That's really cool. Oh, it's like steps. Get way over the water. Nice. Gate. Oh, look at this. Did I miss this building? Wood collector. Interesting. Tiny castle. That's a tiny castle? That looks like a full-size castle to me. There's even an underside. What's inside? Yeah, look at this. Full interior. Full interior. Real doors. Real rooms you can put stuff in. Oh, wait, let me look at that again. Yeah, there's some single-sided textures up here that would need fixing. Same over here. Yeah, that's a real castle, man. Okay, so it's tiny because this is just a... This elevates it. This is the castle, just that and that. With a bridge between. So maybe like a road goes under it. Or something. And this is the big... Oh, tiny temple. That's another thing. I guess it's all elevated. How are these tiny, though? This looks huge. Look how big this is. It's literally labeled Tiny Temple. I guess it's not that big if you just consider the top here. This is the temple. The only indoor section is this. So I guess, yeah, I guess that's a tiny temple if you consider that. But it's huge. Huge asset. Temple itself is tiny. How would you get up there? There's no way up there. I guess you would have stairs somewhere. Stairs in the back. Go up here, then inside there's like a twisty stair, maybe. I don't know. That would take some work, but I think it's gorgeous the way it is. Even if it's just an ornamental roof. So this is a lot of assets, and they're very high quality. Most of the textures look great. So let's go with... Oh, did scroll down now to find it. Let's go with S tier for Shogun. The next one is Soviet blocks. So welcome, comrades, to the Soviet Union. If you want like a period kind of Russian USSR scene or story, this would be perfect for that. Some of these buildings, though, they're just kind of like brutalist. I think you'll be able to use them in other contexts, other cities that just use some brutalism. Some of these assets, at least. Oh, I gotta speed up again. Now let's just slow down before. Okay. Yeah, very strict and austere, but large and functional. It's all about functionality. You got some cool... Actually, I really like these, the graffiti. Soviet era graffiti art house. That's cool. Most of these look residential. Mass residences, residencies. A lot of them have underpass stuff. So there's space under each building. Wonder if that's something that was popular in Soviet Russia, or that's just a art choice here. They're tall, imposing buildings. Very functional. So far, all of them look like they're supposed to be apartments. The insides, of course, invisible because of the one-sided textures. Make great scenery. This is one of the things. The wall after wall. See how every walls are just kind of cascading into each other? I don't know how that's supposed to be like... I mean, obviously they're not intended to be usable buildings. But if you wanted to use them as usable buildings, that's going to take a lot of work. You're going to have to cut a lot out. Because if you want a room, it's not just going to be wall to wall. Look at all these buildings. Oh, that's kind of cool, like this bridge. See, this is a nice open spot. There's not walls in here. You can do whatever you want. This has a lot of walls. Interesting. It's not so bad, though, because you probably could just cut out holes for doorways and stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of bridges on top, because the buildings are so tall that if you wanted to get over here, but you're over here, that means you got to go all the way down, all the way over, and all the way back up. So just have some bridges in the middle so you don't have to go all the way down. If you're like here, and you want to get there, you can just go whoop, whoop, and you're there. It's kind of cool, very functional. A lot of connected buildings. You can visit people. This is interesting. A lot of unused space here. But you see how it's all just concrete and brutalist. There's a lot of repetition, though. I mean, that's the point, right? Communism, like, everyone gets the same thing. Well, I would say that's the point of communism. That's just what ended up kind of happening here. Not everyone, of course. All right, let's see what's in here. Nice. There are slight differences to each one of these buildings. But I mean, the point of them is the repetition, right? Got this big smokestack. Oh, it's part of this building too. Look at that single mesh. So what is this building? Why is this building different? It still looks like apartments. Like any of these could just be like brutalist houses. Like it doesn't have to be a Soviet scene. This is okay, it's not great. I'm gonna say C tier. I don't have a lot of need for Soviet buildings. It's interesting though. Soviet blocks, C tier. Gonna have to modify that a bit. Let's go to spaceships. Back to space. Let's see. Who's excited for Starfield? In Starfield, you can make your own modular ships. Well, if you want to make your own Starfield clone, this is the perfect asset for you, these kits. Excuse me. Because you have all these modular pieces of a spaceship. You're going to make your own game with a spaceship that you can make pieces and parts. Well, here's all the pieces of parts. You can get them to put together. Or if you just want to make a scene, like here's a habitat ring. That could be a base for like a starship or something. Like a base. A base for a base. Star base. There's all these pieces and components. There's some satellite pieces. It's like ship pieces. Some are more complete looking than others. But you know, you can assemble your own pieces and bits or add to it. There's some bigger ones over here. It's like this thing, and then that huge satellite in the sky. I threw that up in the sky because that made it look more natural. I mean, these aren't really supposed to be on land, so like most of the assets, which are buildings. Got these cool satellites. Now the interiors, of course, are not really there. They're semi there because we got some double-sided material, but let's go up to this big craft up here. Yeah, nothing in there. What about in here? Oh, this would take a lot of work if you want interiors, so I'd recommend using these for exteriors only. Great for making scenes where you need spacecraft in them, using the other tools that also have like a futuristic NASA punk aesthetic. There's not quite much wrong with these, but I'm not going to use them anytime soon, so I'm just going to put them in C tier. Welcome to the Storefronts kit. This one's pretty interesting because these are literally storefronts. Like, it's not a building, and that's not the intent. Is you can take another building and slide the storefront into it, so they're kind of like modular. Sometimes you'll have to like cut out a space for them. Now, there's nothing in most of these stores. You just, it's just the front. Just supposed to look like it. Easy travel. We can do the door test here. No, there's no real door. But, this is just, for setting a scene. It's good to have a storefront. It's mini mart. Something to just walk by on a corner. Some of them are corner and some of them are not corners. The middle of the building, I guess, or the side. Fresh fruit and vegetables. There's a lot of detail to these. Fifth Avenue. De KitBash. It's not the highest res, but I mean, if you're just walking by it or it's in the background, that doesn't matter. You end up with things like fire hydrants on these, which you probably can dissect that and make it part of your scene otherwise. What is this? It's a parking lot, interior parking lot that you can't get into. Eden Garden. So if you're just like setting up your scene, like these add the details. I actually like this a lot. I'm definitely going to be using storefronts in my projects, so that there's just like interesting things that looks like a city or town. Looks like a bookstore. Now, these will be things that are non-interactable, just ambient, just things you walk by. Andre's Bakery. Make it feel, flesh it out, make it feel more like a real city. Clothing shop. Entire store on sale, 60%, 40% off. Looks like 100% off. None of them are wearing clothes. But you could put clothes on those mannequins if you want, if you have clothes assets that you can do that with. That's cool. Pharmacy. I think this is a solid A tier. Fabio's Pizza. Pawn shop. I think the only thing holding it back from the S tier is that it's going to take a lot of work to modify if I do want to use this for anything other than just background setting. Or addressing, that is. But this is such high quality. Like, it's so high quality, I want to label it S tier. But the utility's a little down. Burger Heaven. That reminds me of a burger place near me. I wonder if they are inspired by that. Super Plus Outlet. Little newsstand. See, this is useful. You could just like put someone inside this, have a conversation with them. So that's like the most interactable one that we've got so far. Because it's not like you would need to have like a character walk inside. So you just put a NPC in this side and just say that it's locked. That works. Actually, I wonder. I'm gonna look at that. I highly doubt that the door is interactable, but yeah, it's just one solid mesh. Ooh, the luxury clothing store, Luxor. Some of these are more luxury, and some are more just like some are like downtown, some more uptown, like the really nice, expensive part of town. Jewelry store, Adventura Bank, a bank. So like maybe I can have the character walk up to the ATM, like in the original Deus Ex, go up to an ATM to hack it, and then just like bring up a different screen. Like that'd be cool. The gallery, I like that. Maybe I'll just have to sneak around the back to get in. KitBash Museum. Just use these as extra. You see, here's another thing I don't like about it is I can clearly see there's nothing in there. Like, look at this space in here. What kind of gallery has that? I'd have to like cut off the back. It's like I'd have to like drill a hole into it and then make like a scene just to like if you're walking by this. If this is like way in the background, obviously it's fine. Just background set dressing. But I think that's what's keeping this in A tier, not S tier. Bistro Saint Noel. Like I love it. It's beautiful. They're gorgeous. Ooh, simplicity. It's the instead of the Apple Store, it's the Pear Store. I like it. Beautiful simplicity. Simplicity is the name of the yeah. Is that the name of the company or is that the name of the phone that they're selling? Simplicity phone. Park Lane Hotel. Hotel front. I like it. Yeah, so there's all these gorgeous assets, but with very little changeability. Storefront is going to be A tier. Oh, nice. This next one is steampunk. Oh, I mislabeled the level. I called it streampunk. That's kind of fun. All right, now this is more of an extreme fantasy steampunk. Steampunk's like actually got quite a range in my opinion of what it could be. Obviously, it's always fantasy, but sometimes it's like really like, what's this giant bulb? Like. Um. Also, I notice whenever they do stuff like this and they make it like fantasy like, they make them very tall and thin. There's a lot of thin buildings, but I think that's supposed to show for like the impracticality of it. Like most of these sets, the interiors are invisible, one-sided textures. They're really nice though. I like that they did the bronze and brass colors. That evokes steampunk a lot. Bronze, brass, and brown. That's steampunk. Like it's supposed to be functional, but with a styled forward functional. Very, very stylish. Gorgeous. Functional and not realistic functional. Unrealistic functional. Steampunk functional. Like functional to the detriment of functionality, where the building itself has to have pipes and exhaust valves and stuff that just don't make any sense. Like it's doing something, whether or not it's actually doing something useful, that's a different question. That's a nice large building. Let's do a door test on it. Doors way down there. Nope, no doors. Looks good though. Looks great. I might have to give this a B tier because I'll never use it. Looks great, but there's low functionality. No real problem with it. If you're making a steampunk world, these assets will definitely pad out your city. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Steampunk is B tier. Treasure Island. Now this is the pirate setting. I believe I had an issue with Treasure Island, so I'll see if the materials have. So when was doing the download for this, I was getting a bunch of errors, and some of the materials weren't attaching to the buildings. Let's see if I have any issues anymore. Well, it looks like most of them are together, but the blacksmith, I couldn't download it all. It run errors. I'd restart the computer, restart cargo, restart, make sure all of my updates are there. No, just can't download the blacksmith building. Let's look through these. Got some like guard post wall pieces with like cannon on it. That's kind of cool. It's a lot of fun. High quality otherwise. Nice little, what do they call this? Oh, it doesn't have a labeled name. You see, I do prefer it when they label the assets of what their name is. Like this is called uh TIS, that's Treasure Island. Building large C. Not descriptive. Some sort of like compound though. Got to throw in random cannons at the fence. I like it because it feels like it feels like you're on the Pirates of the Caribbean tour. Like it doesn't seem realistic at all. I could put cannons just in the on their porch. There's just cannons everywhere on it, but I love it. I love it. KB Minoia. Oh, I like this. Guillotine. You throw this into some like the colonial, you can just like recreate like the French Revolution. Yeah. Put them in a little cage too. There's the I like the juxtaposition between like the treasure chest and the coffin. This is win and this is lose. Got a well. This would be good in a like medieval environment as well. As well. You got this bell tower. Oh, it actually says bell tower on it. Not on the project file though. Project file says building GE. Um, I think we already did the door test, but let's do the door test here again. Yep. Fail again. It cannot be a higher than an A. Light a signal fire up here for this lighthouse. This is a cool building. Is it a church or is it a government building? It's got a cross on that one. I think it might be a church. Pirate church. I like it. It's got a bell too. There's some fortress pieces. See the back. Yeah, you can walk around on another cannon. I don't think any of the cannons are... Is there a single cannon here? I was going to say that I don't think they're usable. They're all ornamental. See, this building looks like a blacksmith. I'm wondering maybe if I downloaded it once, then it won't let me download it again. Maybe it's an armorer. No, it looks like a blacksmith to me. Maybe it did download. Maybe that was part of the error. It would be like, you already downloaded it, but none of the other ones would do that. Huh. That's interesting. Anyway, the cargo's new. They're still getting, you know, they're still fixing it up. The inn, okay. It's a small inn. There's only a couple of rooms. But, I mean, pirates probably sleep on the ship, right? Okay, there's a lot of assets here. I don't think I could put this any lower than an A. I can't put it in S, but I can't put it any lower than an A. There's just too many assets here. And they're of high quality, and they're cool, and it makes me think of Pirates of the Caribbean. Got this Treasure Island adventure going on. And it comes with its own ship. Come on. Come on, what's inside the ship? Nothing. Actually, let me elevate the ship a bit. Oh. There are, like, floors here. You'd have to add your own stairs, I guess. About up here. Oops. Going too fast, I'll slow down. It's a bit too slow. Go through here. There's no floor there, but it's easy enough to make a wooden floor. This would be like the captain's quarters, I guess. And then down here would be the back, maybe the galley. Yeah. If you just make your own stairs. Easily modifiable. It is most of a ship. And you don't have to use it as a usable ship. It could just be sitting out there. It's gorgeous. It's a huge ship, too. I'm surprised there's no smaller ship. That ship is big. And look at this. Yeah, there's too many assets here to not give it. That's a gorgeous building, too. Not given an A. Oh, there's a little dinghy. No smaller ship, though. Just the big old pirate ship. So let's give Treasure Island an A. Now let's do Utopia. So Back to the Future. A non-dystopia future where things are actually like clean and science has revolutionized what it means to be human. So this is another kit with ridiculously large assets in it. Oversized novelty assets. Which I think is supposed to go to like the grandeur of like where we've gone with humanity, the future. I mean, look how tall those are. This is like, all right, this is like standing level. I'm looking up at them. Huge, like taller than any skyscraper. And they're also wide and interesting and weird shape. But of course covered in glass that you can see completely through. So it's like, yes, let's make this giant structure with nothing in it. And that has one-sided textures. Now this part, this one's unique. This is all one structure, but it's intentionally has all these breaks in it. I think this said it was a garden. I don't see the... It's not labeled as a garden. It's labeled as Building MDA. But it almost looks like a road at first. but I think it's supposed to have like you can put plants in here, like a greenhouse, but also plants around the outside. Maybe you can walk on top of these. It does go all the way to the ground. Future gardens. Who knew? This one's kind of similar to that, but this is like a building. Maybe a river goes under it or something. A stream. And you got these gigantic glass buildings with nothing in them. Single-sided textures. But they're gorgeous. Great for background. If you need them far in the distance, the fact that they're big is kind of a benefit. The other thing that I'd say about these is there's a lot of like repeating textures. See that? Like this and this, this and this. You just have a lot of repeating patterns. But that's something you can fix by changing out the texture, adding like random things to it. But yeah, it's got the same texture over and over, which is very noticeable even from afar. I guess if you're really, really far away, it just looks like more shine. But from afar, like you can see the repeating patterns. Now, I'm not going to use this. It's a little weird. Really cool, though. I'm going to put it as B tier. Valhalla. Now, if you want an alternate medieval scene, you want it to be more Nordic. You like the show Vikings, or you really liked Assassin's Creed Valhalla, or you know, you're just into the Viking craze. Valhalla is the kit for you. Has a wide array of medieval Viking buildings, Nordic styled. I think, are there interiors to these? There are. Let's do the door test. Oop, I am too fast. Slow down. Door test is a failure for these, unlike Shogun, which passed, which is very similar as far as the style. Not the actual style, like this is Nordic and that's like medieval Japanese. But as far as the quality and the method of creating the art, similar style, but at least I think it is. That's what it appears to be. But doors are not part of the equation. You'd have to cut them out if you want them to be usable. Still, some great longhouses here. Looks cool, looks neat. It's interesting that it had an interior, this one. Yet, there is no way to see this interior. See, it's got a stone floor. Why would you make it so that the doors don't open? If you went through the effort of making a stone floor, I don't know. Are any of these too low? Raise them. No, there's just no floor to these. So some of them don't have floors. So maybe that's just an outlier. And they're not intended to be seen from the inside. Yeah. This one's gorgeous. This has like a whole like training area and everything. This is a cool set piece. And it's really tall. It's taller than most of them. Taller than all of them. That's the tallest piece. This is the Grand Castle, I guess, of a longhouse. They do training. It's kind of cool. I like the axe. But if there's no way in, it takes some work. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. I think I'm going to go for B tier on this. Let's see if something can change my mind. There's a lot of assets here, though. But then again, well, both failing my test and the fact that I'm not making a Viking game right now. And this is based on my personal opinion, for my needs. That has that weird grass texture. That's kind of weird. It's like two-dimensional grass. Fish are kind of interesting. Yeah, I think this is solid B tier. Especially with the lack of insides. Gorgeous, though. If I ever make a medieval game, there's Nordic people in it, like whether it's set in the Nordic scene or if they're just like invading or something and setting up bases. You know, like that happened to like England and Frankia. Um, yeah, I'd use these assets. A blacksmith, that's cool. Oh, this thing's cool. It's like a sacred area. Shrine, they leave offerings. That's real cool. Oh, they're building boats. It's a bridge. Got the bridges, leatherwork or tents. This was bothering me too. These textures, these aren't supposed to be see-through. See from the inside that they're invisible. But that's supposed to be like a tent. There's something wrong with these textures. Actually, I might dock that down to C. Oh my. Yeah, there's enough wrong with these. I don't want to. You're twisting my arm here. Twisting my arm, but Valhalla, despite how much I like it, it's a C. Sorry about that. Now let's try Victorian. Speed up the camera again. Victorian pieces. Now, like most of these sets, it's very monochrome. There's only a few colors here. I do like that it is a bit shinier. Like you can see through it, but it's a bit shinier than some of the ones that you can just see through, so that if you're like looking like this, like you might not realize that you can see through it and that it just looks like a reflection. Do they have doors? I don't see doors. I'd have to carve out your own door if you want one. So I think that alone is precluding it. Oh, there's a door. Door test. Yeah, I think we've already seen things that's enough to convince me that there is, yeah. This is not S tier material. I don't think it's A tier material either. And I like these. I think these are gorgeous. Like this looks more like a government building. Oh, is this the London Bridge? That's gorgeous. So even the London Bridge has unusable doors. And there's not a lot of... That's a weird texture. Is it supposed to be like that? Looks like plastic. That's Victorian. Huh. Like they didn't add any personality to it. There's no like storefronts. It's just awnings that look like plastic. It's all monochromatic. Oh, was that Big Ben? See, this says Victorian. It doesn't say Victorian London, but I guess that's what they're doing. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Yeah, if you're making like a, even in modern times, England, like if you need like Big Ben, some of these buildings are usable, mostly set dressing. Although they're not, they're beautiful, but they're all beautiful in the same way. And this is a whole set doing the same thing. I appreciate the fact there's a bridge. You see, this building looks different. It's this building, and then like, well, I guess this building's closer to that building. Well, I don't know. Yeah, it's like that building. This is like a hybrid building, and then all the other buildings kind of look. That top's kind of like that building. It's like a mismatch. Oh, I like these. These are nice. That plastic is setting though. I don't want to put this in D tier, so I'm gonna put this in C tier. Victorian, C tier. Now let's do the Warfare pack. Back to my veteran roots here. Let's see what it's like at wartime. Take a little while to load. How many more do we have? 3. We're almost done. So thank you for sticking with me. It's been a journey reading all of these. There are so many. It's actually quite a value to get the Pro package. But you only have access to them as long as you have the Pro package. But it is access to all of them and all the ones in the future. That as long as you have the package, that whenever they add a new one, it adds to the Pro package as well. A new kit, that is. Okay, this is interesting. It's reminiscent of the DMZ pack. Like you could call this like the DMZ Part 2. There's a little aspects of Aftermath as well, where stuff's kind of like blown up, blown apart. Maybe a more detailed version of that. See, there's like rooms. Here's like a battle plan and desks. Let's do the door test. I don't expect this to pass, but I'll be pleasantly surprised if it does. Door. It's a door. I am pleasantly surprised. This is a candidate for S tier. Like if this is what you're looking for, if you need a more area, see single-sided texture. Like at least they have an interior though. Like that's cool. That's a really cool interior. These are like blown out rooms. These aren't single-sided textures. This is a blown up building. That's why you can see the rooms. But it has rooms, unlike most of the kits. You know what? When I open this up, I didn't think I was going to rate this highly, but I believe this is exactly what you need if this is what you're looking for. Even that's got an interior. Look at that. Oh, gorgeous. I'm running into some video memory issues though. Good thing we're almost done. You know what? I don't need this right now, but it's functional enough where I'm going to give it an S tier anyway. Like I probably should give it an A tier, but no, that's an S tier product. Buy that if that's what you need. Now that we're still in the W's, we got Warzone. Got Warzone and then Wasteland last. So let's finish up the war and then see the aftermath, which is the Wasteland. Such a cheery note to end this on. War and Waste. You've seen such beautiful kits, so it's interesting that, W just happens to be near the end of the. We need a cheery Z kit to end on. Please KitBash3D add a kit that starts with Z. X, Y, or Z. Xanadu. Add Xanadu. And then we can end on a cheery note. Alright, these are blown out buildings. Warzone. Similar to Wasteland, except less sandy, drier. More debris. Blown out. Like, really, there doesn't have to be much in the buildings because, I mean, it's mostly just destroyed. Although, if you're just trying to, like, make it a level in a game, there are no stairs. You can see there's no stairs from here, from the ground. So I got to dock at some points for that. These are gorgeous blown out buildings. That's inventive, seeing the steel bending. steel frame of the building. They are different. They are destructive. They're nice shine to them. San Bernardino. This is a blown up Los Angeles? Oh no. You got some road pieces here, which are actually, although dirty, they're kind of together. I guess you put that with this. Like this is on the end edge of this if you need a post-apocalyptic world. Or just a blown out world. So this can't be S tier and it can't be A tier, although it looks really cool. How did I rate? How did I rate Aftermath? I rated Aftermath highly, didn't I? I did, as an A tier. Huh. Should I rate this as an A tier? I think I want them rated as a B tier. And that might not make any sense if I made Aftermath as an A tier. Like, I can't do much with these buildings. Did I put that standard to Aftermath? Did I talk about whether I can use the buildings or not? Maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't put it that standard. So since they're, well, no, but you can see into the building, so now it's a B. It's a solid B. All right. Last but not least, well, it might be least. Let's see how I rate it. Wasteland. So Wasteland, that evokes feelings of maybe like a Mad Max setting, post-apocalyptic desert. Let's see if that's what it is. Kind of. Kind of. There's some really big buildings here. It's very industrial. Very industrial, these buildings. Hmm. So a hyper-industrial world. With these somewhat fantasy things, you see this thinness again to the buildings. I'm not sure I like that. They're empty. Door test. No doors. Okay. This is going to be an A. Not an S. Are they interesting, though? How are the textures? What the? You can see right through the building, or the bus. Is that an outlier, or is that happening more than once here? Might be an outlier. Maybe the texture didn't import correctly. Right now I'm thinking C. I don't think I mark this as D tier. I think it's good looking enough. I like well, I like most of the textures. Yeah, the textures aren't terrible. So I don't think this is D tier quality. I think this is, and I wouldn't use this. This is kind of cool, this boat. This could be even in a modern setting, just somebody left a boat there and stacked up a bunch of these cases. Make a little like shanty town. This is something more like something you'd see in Fallout, though. I think there is a stage like that in Fallout 4. Let's see here. It's a dam. Look at this dam asset. It's kind of cool. Dam in the wasteland. Can I bump this up to a B? Should I? Should I bump this up to a B? It's mine to nowhere. Oh, that's kind of weird. Texture differences there, the color. These like just get crammed in the middle. Enough of the stuff just doesn't make sense to me. Or I think I keep this at C. It looks good enough where I can't say it's a D. But there it is. This is my final ranking. Let's see if I want to do some modifications for like where they are. I think Shogun might be my favorite. Cyberpunk was great. Yeah. So let's make this Americana, Brooklyn, Aftermath, Art Nouveau. Cyber Streets can be moved up here. Treasure Island. There we go. I think that's good. Oh no, Shangri-La is much better than most of those. There. Ancient Colonial DMZ. DMZ was kind of cool. It's Hong Kong. Yep, I'm just rearranging these for this up here. And there you have it, my final ranking. Done. Nope, not done. Valhalla should be higher. There we go. Done. My final ranking. Please let me know what you think about this ranking. Do your own ranking. I'll put the link below so that you can also make a tier list. What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? Thank you, and get out there and do your art, make your projects, and make. In my case, I'll be making my game. So, thank you, and see you in the next one.